everybody. Welcome to Eden Fractal meeting number 38. It's great to be here. We've just been having discussions for the past 20 minutes or so. We have a bunch of awesome community members who are doing awesome work. And we have decided that we'll go into the breakout room in like 6 or 7 minutes or so. And first, we'll just say welcome. Thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for joining. Really appreciate it. And I'll also share a brief presentation with a recap of what happened last week, the show notes, and also the current proposals and topics on Consortium. I'm ready to jump into that presentation right now. Before I do so, would anybody else like to say a quick hello or anything else, or should I get into the presentation now? All right, presentation it is. So I've been working on curating the recent videos and recent show notes from recent meetings on edenfractal.com/videos. I encourage everybody to check these out if you haven't had the chance to see the meeting, or if you want to learn more about the meetings, or if you want to share with friends. I'm trying to provide the most helpful resources possible to help promote the community and share all the great work of community members. So I'm making some cool artwork and making show notes for each episode or each meeting. You can scroll down and see recent ones. For right now, we'll go into the 37th meeting because we're in week 38. You can see the full video here, and then there's show notes where we talk about different things. I'm doing some highlights here. So one of the main topics we discussed was agreements. I made a proposal or topic proposal last week about creating an Eden Fractal participant agreement that everybody can sign to better set expectations and reduce liabilities and so forth. And we also had a brainstorming session last week about delegate proxies. One of the main takeaways there was to, when you're electing delegates, make sure that they'll qualify for the role, like they'll be able to be there for the next 4 weeks and so forth. We're also starting to use the Telegram live chat instead of the Zoom live chat as well. There's a lot of benefits of that. And then I also did a little thing about Joshua joining and sharing the preview for EndOut too. So you can scroll down here and learn more about the agreement article, and you can also see the video if you want, afterwards about the agreements. We had a great discussion for about 40 minutes with a lot of great insights from community members. And similarly, you can see our discussions about delegate proxies and our takeaways and so forth in the full brainstorming session. Thank you, Patrick, for hosting that. There's also the article and video about our using of the Telegram live chat and the preview that Joshua is sharing. Just some cool topics here, as well as all the topics. So that's a little bit of summary to catch everybody up in case you haven't been here. Of course, there's also timestamps here that you can look at the full video. And then at the bottom, there's related posts where you can see different things. One thing that's pretty cool this week, Vlad and I just released a video called Discussing Eden Fractal Stuff, where we discussed all sorts of fun stuff, including our mission, which is quite related to the topics at hand today. So on the consortium today, so we have our agendas game where people propose topics. And I think that today Vlad hasn't deleted. Vlad usually deletes the ones from last week. So we can just ignore these ones about T37 and topic 37. These were from last week. We discussed these last week, but there's 4 topics that are currently proposed right now. And there hasn't been very many votes. I think that there's only been one person who's voted so far. And these votes got in pretty late. So I encourage everybody, if you want to vote for a topic, if there's anything you want to discuss, then please do so. Please do so now. I suppose we'll have an extra hour or so. So if you want to vote before 17 UTC on a topic, then we'll go with whatever topics have the most votes at 17 UTC. The topic that currently has the most votes is, I propose, what is the vision of Eden Fractal? This was largely inspired by Eric. I rewatched the meetings from 28 and 29, and he shared a lot of great thoughts. And I started to curate an article at edencreators.com/vision about this. And so you can learn more about that. And I think that'd be a great discussion. I also made a proposal following up on last week about creating an Eden Fractal participant agreement. It's a super simple agreement that perhaps I can show after the meeting about requiring English and consent for sharing videos on social media. And I also made a proposal about the mission that Vlad and I discussed to promote collaboration, create publicans, and empower communities. And Patrick made a mission proposal about Eden Fractal collaboration and singularity mission too. So that's that basically. I also put together some articles about these, but I'll save those for later, and I'll stop the screen share. Hope that everybody is doing well, and we'll go into breakout rooms in like 30 minutes or so. Welcome Evgeny as well, and welcome to Das and Pascal. Great to see you all. Is there anything that anybody would like to share before we go into breakout rooms?
Yeah, I'll share a little pitch for Aquarius Academy. One of the reasons I'm back and participating all the time is I'm really excited to use this for Aquarius Academy going forward. We are hoping to get going probably in the next couple weeks, so I'll be back next week with a better sort of update on that. but every time I come here, I see something new. And to be honest, I probably should have been using the consortium a lot more, but I just went and voted for like 3 different things, and it works awesome. So I'm really stoked on that as well. That's all. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Douglas. Yeah, it's been really cool seeing you and speaking with you at the recent meetings. Really appreciate you joining and your interest and your excitement and how you're planning to implement some of these processes and games into Aquarius. We spoke about that a bit. And I know you were also working with Rosemarie at the Aquarius Academy too. That was one of the ways that has brought us together. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. That's really cool that you're implementing the tools. And I checked out the website, Aquarius.academy. Is that the right website where people can learn more? Okay. Yes, everybody can check out Aquarius Academy. There's a lot of great teachings and spiritual learnings and stuff there. So, and then Douglas, if you'd like to propose a topic on Consortium for next week, or if anybody would like to propose a topic for on Consortium for next week or future weeks, then you can do so. So if you want to share more of your thoughts and focus a discussion around it next week or in future weeks, that would be very welcome. And also, I'm glad that you had a great experience with Consortium too. Big shout out and thanks to Vlad for creating the great Consortium app, as well as to Patrick and to Das and Lenny and everybody who helped design the system where we can vote for topics on Consortium. As an update, after Douglas voted, the currently top topic is now what is the vision of Eden Fractal? And then the second one is creating an Eden Fractal participant agreement. But we'll check back at the top of the hour to see if there have been changes to the order, and then we'll go with whatever topics have had the most votes. Now it is 16 UTC, so I think without further ado, it's a good time to jump into the breakout rooms. If anybody has any last minute comments or words that you want to share with the community, then now's a good time. Otherwise, I will start the breakout rooms and wish that everybody has an awesome time. All right, breakout rooms are open. Have fun.
Oh shit! I don't know what's happening, guys. I'm sorry.
Right now you look beautiful, Pascal. Be happy.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
That was
That lasted 2 seconds.
People are glitching.
See
on
me in your
screen.
window.
It looks
That's
really
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I don't really know
what's
yeah.
happening.
I see me into your window.
But Pascal, I've actually noticed that on a few, particularly from Pan American stuff, a few people who have this issue. Veronica, for instance, from Venezuela and similar. So it's something, I don't know, some bandwidth or whatever. Now you are frozen.
I don't know. It's a mess. I updated it like last week, my Zoom, but it's always happening then. I have to click in. It's a mess. So I'm sorry if I...
You do how you wish if you want to be, I guess. Right. We got a few other guys here who lead. I'll be quiet.
Dan, can you put my, because this is my desktop, but like I joined from my mobile as well to get my camera. Can you put my my other mobile into this room as well, because I go split into another breakout room, but I quit it because otherwise I have to be in 2.
Okay, sure. So I think I can move you to this room and...
Yes, I got it, yeah.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome, Rosemarie Desktop.
Sounds good. So yeah, hello everybody. Welcome. Hope you're all doing well. I suppose first things first, would anybody like to moderate and kind of host this breakout session? I'm happy to do so if I would like, but if anybody else would like to as well, that would be welcome.
I can do.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thanks, Patrick. Well,
And
feel
if
free
I
to take it away.
fail, you are my backup in case. Okay.
Right. Wow.
Let's do this.
Pascal's screen does look strange.
It's very strange.
The virus is going to attack the whole Zoom meeting.
I don't know.
Pascal
Really,
looks very great, but
It's,
the background is strange sometimes.
I think I will call Zoom to ask them after this thing. I don't really know what's happening. Shit.
Hmm. Okay, so to facilitate, I will go the first, and I will share rapidly what I have made since last Sunday. So last Sunday, I was into Eden Town Hall with Nicolas Dawan of the EOS Bees. We were sharing what we are doing. Myself, a cockpit for the bees with the result of the swarms and the comments. There is a tweet now going on Twitter. Nice return, 10,000 views about that.
Hey, Patrick, do you mind if I jump in? Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just noticed that the rooms, I suppose because Rosemary has the two rooms and that kind of, because she had the two things that kind of confused it. But right now there's 6 people in this room and there's only 4 people in room 3. So would anybody like to switch to room 3 to balance it out more?
Yeah, you can move me. That's fine.
Oh,
I'll meet some new people. I think I know everybody here, so I'll go
Okay.
and meet some new people.
yeah. Not
Okay.
tragic, not tragic.
Are you sure,
Okay.
Douglas? You don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll move you to room 3 and you can go meet Eric, Ebony, Gnome, and Victor. See you, Douglas.
Hmm.
Okay. Sorry, Patrick. But that's all. So you can continue.
Yeah, I have to redo. I just want to take the link to the tweet. Like this, you can see. Okay. Okay, so I redo. So I put into the chat a link to a tweet for the cockpit for the bees. That's what we shared on the Eden Town Hall on Sunday. And one day after the Town Hall, on Monday this week, I was doing an update of this cockpit for the bees. And as you see, the tweet is a pay swarm that I have paid for that, just to make an update about this cockpit. And this cockpit will be the same for Eden Fractal, will be the same for Eden on EOS. I will do also cockpits, and it's all with mindweb.io. So that's my contribution since Sunday, Monday, and then also working on some project behind the scene that will be rendered public soon with some people of this Eden Fractal. But I don't say anything concrete for the moment. We will unveil when the time comes on March 23rd, when there will be the Antelope Swiss workshop number 19, where I will do an Eden Fractal update with you, Dan, about Eden Fractal. And there will be an update about what I am building with some other member of this Eden Fractal. So working a lot and promoting a lot about what we are doing with other projects. And this cockpit is supposed to help to have a good visibility. And the first one is with the bees. So, and that's totalized a lot of hours of work during the week. I'm working about for EOS during the week, as all the weeks, about maybe 40 hours per week for EOS. And beside that, doing my consulting with my customer for Nova Crypto LLC, but for EOS, creating a lot of content, and that will be published later on. I create a lot of content that will be published later on. So I give the mic to Rosemary. On the right of my screen, there is Rosemary desktop and Rosemary alone. So that's,
Thank you.
let's
Thanks,
go.
Patrick. Well, I've worked again with Dan and Noam. We met up on Monday this week to discuss the welcome guide, feedback, and it was kind of a one-to-one discussion too about just general topics of interest and a bit of a background history and what's coming next, and mostly collating feedback as a part of the welcome guide, which now is 7 pages, and I can share it quickly now if you want, or I can share actually the link that we can all contribute towards and make these changes. But now it just looks more of a formal version because it has the content table of content. I cannot share my screen because it's disabled for the moment. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
I was just muted, but I just enabled that. Sorry about that. You should be able to do it now.
Okay. Yes, okay. Okay, so it looks like that. I don't know if I can, okay. It looks like this. So we added like more sections now, and it's a bit more formalized. But it's more to come. So just a few of the sections are how to create an account, the communication that we have, like with links to all the Telegram chats, the mission, the tools used, next steps as a new joiner, different integrations, connections, events, resources, links to social media platforms, funding opportunities, collaborations, and creating more feedback. We'll change which this is still in draft, but it has like many links in here so that it's like easier to navigate, but also we would add like more information about as a summary so that a person can know how to also guide this guide. And let me know if you have any more questions. This was the main thing that I was working on. Apart from that, with that, we've been talking about just general topics about funding and Pomelo, and I'm gonna make my application soon. So that's really been lots of discussion, and also how to promote my services better. And I'll probably be using Pomelo as well to share this across. So stay tuned. I'll pass it over to Lenny.
Thank you. Now I get organized. Have to get organized. You've been busy, Rosemary. Good to hear. Okay, I'm not so well. I'm always busy, but for Eden Fractal wise, maybe not so very much. I do my normal little thing about posting whatever there is, and done in case there's someone who haven't checked out any links or want to check it out or whatever. I do as usual recaps, similar, and did the Eden Fractal recap here posted yesterday, and then I do, of course, from the Eden election, commitments made. Only 7 left, only 7 room left, almost there soon. So give me another couple of days, I'll have it done. And otherwise, it's just keeping up with everything, reading up, and similarly, not spent much time thinking about Eden Fractal. I leave it, as you have noticed, maybe more to you guys. And then I sit in the background and try to be the old wise man or something like that. So that's me. Not much more to say. I give it to Dan.
Cool. Sounds great. Thank you very much, Lenny. I will pull up a thing where I have my window. Sorry for the delay, but I should be able to show it now. Okay, cool. So yeah, I put together everything pretty quickly this week. I think I maybe did some other stuff too, but I'll just share a few things that I did here that I got up on my browser over here. So as I showed before, I worked on the show notes. This is a pretty big project for week 37, and I've been curating some of the past weeks as well to make them cleaner and more helpful for everybody. So I produced this video and then I made a nice thumbnail and shared it, and then put show notes I gave a preview of these before, so I won't go over it too much, but I wrote out a few paragraphs about the agreement and pulled out timestamps and the article that I wrote last week about agreements. I also updated that, which I'll show in a moment. And I wrote some paragraphs and curated about the delegate proxies that we were doing in the brainstorming session. And I curated a little bit about how we're still using the Telegram live chat and about Joshua's new project with the NDAO. Also, I curated the topics from last week and put together some timestamps here, and then put together some related posts at the bottom here. And one of the cool things that we did this week was I had a conversation with Vlad where we discussed Eden Fractal stuff. And so I just produced this video. I made kind of a nice intro over here. It was a great conversation with Vlad. And I can show you a little bit of the intro over there. And then there's also show notes where there's some related articles and then timestamps. And there's also a page with some original notes too, with some ideas about the mission. So you can see over here, like there's a little intro section here that's pretty cool and fun. It's got some nice music over there. So I'm thankful for Vlad about that. As Rosemarie was saying too, I also met with Rosemarie and Noam. We were talking about the welcome article or welcome guide materials, and then just also helping Noam with some basic questions about EOS and stuff like that. And then also I've been working with Rosemarie, helping her learn more about the EOS ecosystem and Web3 and so forth, and showing her how Pomelo works and things like that as well. These are the notes that I wrote to Vlad about different missions, kind of broadening our mission. So it's not just focused on EOS, but it's more so focused on just fostering collaboration and promoting collaboration and creating public goods, and also empowering communities. So there's lots of notes there. I also published the Eden Town Hall number 36 over here, and then there's some show notes here. And I also hosted the 38th meeting where Patrick and I had a great discussion along with several other community members about all sorts of cool stuff that'll be coming out soon. But I published this for this week and shared it in a bunch of places. And then I also just put together an article. So I listened to the meetings from 29 and 30 for Eden Fractal again over the past couple of days, because I've been working on figuring out a mission. I know that was a big topic that came up last week, so I started to put together this draft article about our mission. I have to actually refresh it because it's kind of old, and I updated it, but it's not reflecting the updates yet. But there's some ideas here about mostly inspired by Eric, because Eric shared a lot of ideas about the difference between a mission and a vision. And so that's one of the proposals I made to discuss our vision. And then I made some proposals as well, but I'll show more of that later. And then I updated the agreement article to just make it clearer. And then I also added, once again, I have to refresh this because it just isn't loading. But yeah, I put together the actual participant agreement and then some implementation notes as far as things we'd want to do to actually implement this kind of agreement. So that's there. I put together some next steps and other ideas, and then I made a couple updates to the mission article 2, and then I made these proposals on the consortium 2 for the Eden Fractal participant agreement, the mission, and the vision. So that is basically that, and I'll wrap it up here. Happy to answer any questions, I suppose. With that, I will pass it on to Pascal.
Hey, so I hope my screen doesn't shut down, but if you don't see me, I'm here. So this week, I'll just share my screen. Last week, as you know, I launched my Tiagori project, which is a on-chain rewarding platform for content creators. So this is for EOS and Bitcoin, those who create content. This week, I was monitoring how it works to see if contents that people create are indexing. It's going pretty well. So you have some things to fix and then to make sure that things run very well. Sometimes it's slow, but at this point, after 1 week, I'm fine with what I'm seeing in terms of people bringing content. One of the challenges that I was reflecting this week is introduce the EOS tokens so that people can, when they earn their Tiago token, if they want, they have opportunity to exchange it with EOS token on Tiagori platform. So it's nearly all about liquidity. I want people to see the value of what they are doing, they are creating. And then that was my reflection this week in terms of how to create basic liquidity, a minimum for liquidity for content creators, especially for EOS content creators. In terms of Eden Fractal, not directly related this week, what I've done, it was, I would say the week before we met, it was try to contribute to form this vision that we have as a Fractal community, and then shape it in a way that when new member comes, they know exactly where we are going. So I'm happy to see that Rosemary today, the work she has been doing is very great. It's wow. And then to put it down and then to make sure that when in general, I know I want to see where I'm going, you know. So seeing that like formalized, it's an update document. Everybody can go there and then put this on way of fostering the vision, the mission, and then come up with a way that we can have some value in the token we have, like Eden. You know, every week we give Eden tokens to people. I would really have this opportunity if possible. I have some ideas in mind for us to make sure to find a way that this token people see exactly what is it. You know, I believe there's value there, so we need to work on that. So that was in terms of reflection what I was doing this week and last week. Things will come, and then but we need to come down to what is this token doing? You know, why am I giving 8 Eden to Dan? Why am I giving 3 Eden to Rosemary? Why she's doing with this? What can she do with this Eden token? At this point, we can't do anything with it. Anything is not tradable. It's just there. So I really would love us to give it some value, and then the market will decide. So thanks.
Thank you, Pascal.
So,
Thank you, Pascal.
Much appreciated. Patrick, you want to help guide us to the next stage?
Yeah, I want to guide you, clear. What is the next step? I am lost. I give you the right to continue.
Okay, sure. So yeah, basically, I mean, that would be a good time if anybody has any questions.
We have to vote.
Well,
we have to vote, yeah.
Yeah, but we did it all pretty quick. We have plenty of time right now. So if anybody has any questions for anybody or any thoughts that anybody wants to share about anybody's work, then that would be a good time.
I have just one word. Fantastic all what you are doing, everyone. That's the collaboration that we want here. Okay, let's see if we can find some collaboration of this breakout room. I have already an idea. Okay, let's move on. We vote. So we use the Telegram Fractalgram, or we do that into this Compañero Zoom here, or we do that in Fractalgram by Tadas.
I'll set up the Fractalgram link. I'll set up the Fractalgram link. But yeah, does anybody have any questions for anybody before we get into that?
I had a question for Lenny. Lenny, you are weekly update, EOS updates. Where are you publishing it? Do you have any?
If you have your chat, you have 3 of them there. Also, it's on Telegram, but then I share it over at Twitter. Where do I share it? Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, other Telegram groups, etc. So it goes in about 4 or 5 Telegram groups, AOS and Eden, and then my own personal sites on Twitter and other things with a recap banner and stuff, so people find it where it works. But I can pass it on.
Nice.
You find it. Every recap in the bottom have the links again.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a recap everywhere. That's nice.
Yep.
Well, it's been a request.
So
it's not that I'm greedy.
No, I know. I was joking.
Patrick, I have a question for you.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much for the question. The question is yes. Thank you. Bye.
Can you elaborate more on this?
No, really, you have a question. Okay.
Are you listening is the question. Can you elaborate more on your update on the cockpit and the tracking Pomelo? is this, from what I understood, you're looking to add new metrics, such as number of views and add different filters on?
Yeah, and those metrics are not coming from me. They are coming from an Ocean page managed by the bees, by Jesse Jaffe and Nicolas Dawan. They are creating this public table, swarm data tracking, Named, and they are adding new columns. And if one day there is a new metric about on Twitter, I don't know, maybe Elon Musk will create something new. The views were something new. We have never had that before on Twitter. So let's say there is a new metric. I will have a new column into the table, and I will refresh my cockpit that I have made, and I do this service for the swarm. And not only for the swarm, my goal is to do that for every community where you need to have some KPIs, key performance indicators, and metrics. And the Pomelo mind map collections, we have collections on Pomelo since Pomelo season 4. And I have decided to let the people send their links to their collections on Pomelo, and that's appear on the mind map. So the mind map is not just a thing of myself doing that just for give me visibility for me. It's also to give visibility for the communities like Eden Fractal, like Pomelo, like other community that will come soon. So I am very happy.
Thank
that
you.
sounds fair to your question.
Yes, in a way. So would
Okay.
that be in the Bees platform or Pomelo? Would that be something for Pomelo's platform or Bees? Those views, you know,
That
and
serves the both.
representing the views of what, for example, or like what are those metrics?
Yeah, for example, number of swarm and the comments for Pomelo season 5, because the Pomelo grant owner will have the right to do swarms with Jesse Jaffe for the season 5. And that will be free swarm, 1 per week or something like that. And we have a filter now in the cockpit named Pomelo. And when you click Pomelo, you see the swarms just for Pomelo. We have the project source, the source of the project. Pomelo, Nova Crypto, Dancing Joy, if you do swarms. Everyone that do swarms as a source. Let's say if that comes from Eden Fractal, we will have the metrics of the success of the tweet for Eden Fractal. If Eden Fractal decide to do more swarm, I do swarm for the brainstorming session, for example. Yeah.
I understand. How would you?
So that's just the beginning of this.
Thank you. How would you? What's the definition of cockpit and swarms?
Okay, a cockpit is a set of dashboards and data analytic views, like in a plane. In a plane, you have a cockpit, and on the cockpit, you have dashboards, and you have metrics on the dashboards, KPIs, instruments. So that's a cockpit. The swarm is tweets that are amplified, but in the good way, not into the bad way, in the good way. You have humans, that's the bees, that's human like you and me, that are retweeting the tweets and doing comments. First, they retweet, and then they have 1 hour to see the content of the creator, to understand what the creator is doing about a video or about the cockpit, for example, to have some experience and then make their comment a little bit intelligent comment. For the moment, there are 300 bees that are doing comments, and Jesse will try to do only 15 or 20 bees that are commenting, because he wants to take the best commentors, because sometimes you have comments that are a little bit like a copy paste of another comment, let's say, like in the school. So that's not great.
Thank you.
So I am working with Jesse since September last year. And we've done, seems to be that there will be for the life. Okay, so let's continue.
Let me do a quick, if you have time, a quick question to Dan, please. Dan, have you had an opportunity to discuss with Vlad the utility of Eden token?
Yeah, we've discussed that quite a bit in the past. What I showed before with the discussing Eden Fractal stuff video that we released, we've actually been recording videos and having conversations weekly for the past month or so now. And we've also had many conversations going back in, I don't know, past year and a half or so. And so we've discussed potential utilities of the Eden token many times in the past. And currently, just to clarify, there is at least one utility, which is that people can vote to prioritize topics on proposals during agendas.
So it's at this point it's used for agendas, just because I don't.
Yep.
It's just to, yeah. I don't. Okay, I don't know agenda. I haven't used, so I don't know. Because it goes to make things like the more we are clear in what, because token is. I try to find out what it could create, like some kind of I cannot even send it to somebody, you know. So it's challenging. It's to invite people, they earn something, but they don't know what is it. It doesn't do anything, you know. Is this a fun token? Is this a, so the more we have chance to work on this thing, the more I can say, okay, this week I will give Ed Eden to Dan because he worked on Eden token. So, but we are giving something that we don't know what is it. So that's what it's really, as a community, we have to reflect on that. You know, it's just like somebody, I'm going to work to a company, and then they gave me some useless money that it doesn't do anything. I cannot buy a coffee with you. I cannot do anything. You know, so why are we coming and then sharing it? So it's I know at some point at the beginning we had this idea that it can be a reputation token. We had this idea. You know, now. What does it mean? We need to clarify it, you know, to remove ambiguity. But at this point in our progress, I'll be, this is my personal opinion. I will not be allocating Eden to community members that are not working on finding what is Eden really the utility. It's a personal
unboxing.
Personal opinion. Unboxing, yeah. We need to give some to.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, yeah.
Unboxing. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Thanks, Pascal, for sharing your thoughts. And yeah, perhaps we can also have a longer discussion at some point because there's lots we can discuss. But yeah, so right now, I mean, I'm encouraging everybody to use it for just voting on topics, and several people are doing that. That's how we, discuss your topic and discuss my topic last week. So that is a helpful utility, but also I can certainly see a lot of benefits in having more utilities. Many tokens are liquid, which means that they could have some monetary value, like say Bitcoin or EOS, and those are really helpful. People can trade them and reward each other for helpful work. There's a lot of reasons why that hasn't been done so far. Like we were kind of following the lead of the Genesis Fractal at first, and Genesis Fractal had an agreement where they said for the first year they wouldn't have the tokens to be tradable. And a big part of it's just protecting people from liability right now, because the regulatory environment, particularly in some countries like the United States, isn't clear.
We need to express it clearly that this token is not tradable. You cannot do anything for 1 year. It's not like it's negative, but if it's not, people have. I'm asking the question because it's not clear in my mind. We should state it maybe in the document that Rosemary is working on. To add the Eden token doesn't have no utility for 1 year. There's nothing there.
Exact.
Yeah, we just make it clear. But I understand you. I understand your point very well.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, it's something we can explore, and that's a big part of what we can use the token right now to propose topics and then prioritize what we want to discuss as a community, and then the community can work together in breakout rooms like these and after the breakout rooms. And also, if you want to ever meet Pascal, I don't think we've ever just had a one-on-one conversation before, but if you'd like to just meet sometime that the week and just share some ideas, that'd be cool to speak with you more. And then we have conversations like this, then we can figure out the best path forward for the community, and then we can use the democratic system where delegates can decide what they think is best for the community when we make proposals and so forth. A lot of exciting possibilities.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I also
want just to do
I was going to ask Pascal, just generally, I think you mentioned it, but I was curious how the progress of the algorithm is going. Like, because it's been 2 weeks you launched it so far, so I'd be curious to learn like what your where you're at with the algorithm and what the next steps are and your vision for it. But also, Patrick, if you wanted to add something too, then feel free.
Okay. Ask the question.
I will not. I will. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. At this point, I have two, in terms of the next steps, I have two objectives in my, like in my dashboard. You know, one is to create a Thiago Council, which will work as a fractal governance. Another objective is to delegate to the council members some Thiago power, so that they can contribute to share the Thiago token to those that create contents. So this is one of things that I have for the next week. So create a council that's I can delegate Thiago power to them, and then the council works in a fractal manner as we are doing here. The second is which is most will be challenging, is create liquidity for Thiago token, because I have it's a 2-token system, and then create a market between the Thiago token and then EOS token, so to bring the community together, so that people can go from one token to another if they want. But from the beginning, it's going to be just basic to make sure that this it works. You know, on Hive, there's possibilities to open the liquidity to everybody, so that everybody can bring liquidity between Thiago token and EOS token, so that I'm not the only one bringing liquidity. So it's yeah, it's what I have at this point in my dashboard. But those are it's too challenging. But the council is very important to kickstart the council. The minimum is 4 members. I have some people who have expressed already their intention. We just need to find a way that we can kickstart the fractal process.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Pascal, for sharing more details about that, and very much looking forward to following your progress and helping with the algorithm. I think the idea of the council, working with the social media platform, with the fractal cooperation, I think that's super exciting, and I explored the site quite a bit. Still planning to make a post there as well at some point soon, but yeah, thanks so much. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so we have about 20 minutes left or so. Does anybody have any questions for anybody else that you want to get to first? Or Patrick, was there something you want to add there before, or should we get into the consensus?
I think we have to vote, sir. I think we have to vote.
Okay, sounds good. Lenny, did you get my invite?
We can speak after.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't launched my Telegram. I'm launching my Telegram, guys. I'm sorry for the
Yeah, I'll share the link here as well. But I think everybody should have been invited in the room, or in the Telegram app directly, but I'll also share it in the Zoom chat so that you all can join the Fractalgram app. Has everybody here used Fractalgram before? Or has anybody not used it before?
First time for me.
Okay. Sounds good. Hold on, Patrick. I'll put out the prompt right now. And so the way this works, Lenny, is first you reply to that message with your EOS account. Make sure you do a reply, not just a message. It has to be a reply directly to the message.
It's the same what it's Lucas from Eden Election, isn't it?
No, it's a different tool. It has some similarities.
Okay, then I have been in, but I mean the same principle maybe, or otherwise I have been in here already. Sorry.
Okay, cool. So everybody else has replied to that message. Do you see that, Lenny? And can you reply to the please enter your EOS account as a reply to this message?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it's like the upvote vote a little bit.
A little bit. Yep.
I would
Oh,
make
that's why
a
it came wrong place.
comparison. That's
No,
a
sure.
kinda of a vote.
You got
Okay.
mine okay entered?
Yep. Everybody's entered right. And so now you can enter in the poll who should be ranked as level 6 when you're ready.
And we can also discuss a little bit into this Zoom.
Yeah, that's good. I like because you can
Not
change.
not just click. You can
Yes.
also speak.
Yeah,
Of
yeah, that's
course.
Otherwise, that's too much robotic.
Mm.
Beep, beep, beep. I vote.
So far, Lenny, myself, and Pascal have voted, and Rosemary and Patrick have not yet voted.
Yeah, I am figuring out for who.
It's very tight. Rosemary, did you work the document you just the work you have been doing? Did you work on that document with Dan, or was it your
I mean,
initiative?
he helped me a lot, sort of more verbally than he also passed me lots of links actually. He kind of gave me the directions into like where to probably dig and find information, and then I started structuring it, and then he added some comments here and there. It was mutual. It was a collaboration, because I wouldn't have done it without his help for sure.
100%. Okay. Last week, how were you ranked last week?
3, I think.
Okay.
I think 3.
Not too bad. Okay,
I haven't been below.
let's move on.
Patrick, have you voted? I don't
Yes.
see
Yeah.
you here.
I have voted.
So far, everybody's
you.
voted. You should be able to see if you hit view results. So
There
current-
is my emoticon.
It's not a
On the top.
live.
I
Okay,
have
I
voted.
had the screen result up and it's not live feeding updating. You have to get out of a result and in again to see updates. Sorry.
Okay.
Still
Sorry.
learning.
Yep. So currently, Rosemary has 3 votes from Pascal, Lenny, and Patrick. I voted for Patrick, and Rosemary voted for me. So Rosemary almost had consensus,
Nice,
but not yet.
nice choice.
If you
Nice
want to
choice.
switch your vote for yourself,
Rosemary
Rosemary,
voted for you. You
then
voted for her.
I voted for you, Patrick. Yeah.
Rosemary.
By the way, your camera's a little
Thank
bit
you
messed up
very
again,
much.
Patrick. But the reason why I voted for you is, I mean, there's lots of different reasons I could explain. But I just really appreciate a lot of what you're doing, Patrick. So thank you very much. But it looks like maybe Rosemary has consensus. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Did Rosemary switch her vote for herself?
Now she has, yes. And my motivation for Rosemary is mainly that she is the new one on the block and shows engagement already.
Yeah.
It's an area that is severely needed. There's a lot of
Yeah.
links and everything, but no one is making a good for dummies guide or anything. And I'm hoping that's what it's leading to. Oops, I got ghosts coming up here.
I would say exactly the same, Lenny.
Good point.
She is
Good point.
showing a lot of engagement, and I love it. I love it. You
Cool.
have massage, Lenny. That's great. Okay.
Sounds good.
Service. It's a full service place here, you know.
Yes. Okay, so there's consensus for Rosemary there, I think, and then we can move on to level 5. Is everybody ready for that? Or actually, I don't know if there's consensus.
Level 5.
I still see Rosemary is voting for me. And do you want to switch yourself to your vote to yourself, Rosemary, to reach consensus, or?
I think we have consensus now already. That's why I didn't want to vote for me, because I don't think it's necessary. Or do I have to?
Yeah.
You can do it to break out to the consensus. You have the right. If you believe you deserve that level, you have the right to do it.
So I have to.
No, that's very smart. That's very smart.
It's up to you if you want to. You can also advocate otherwise. It's totally up to you. I also really appreciate what you're doing too, but I voted for Patrick because many reasons why I can go
Because,
into. But if you want to switch to your vote yourself, yep, you just did. So now there's consensus for Rosemary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, cool.
okay,
Everybody ready for level 5?
de nada. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Level 5. That's level 5.
Okay, and it looks like there is consensus for Patrick here. So we can go to level 4.
Thank you, thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. Who has not voted?
I think everybody voted there.
Vote.
Yep.
There was only Lenny, Rosemary, and me that have voted for level 5.
Now we have
No,
I
5
see
people there. Same
I see the
situation.
emoji.
Get out and go in. Go out and go in when you get updating. It doesn't update automatically.
Mhm.
It
Okay,
does it in the background,
problem
but
of
what you
refresh.
see on the front, it doesn't get updated.
Yep, I think you have to
Okay.
hit view results and hit the X button to be able to update it again.
Let-
And it looks like there's consensus for me at level 4. Thank you all. So I suppose we can move on to level 3 now.
I have not voted for level 4. Moment.
Okay.
I will vote for
Go, Patrick. Go.
moment. I vote for I vote for Lenny, but
Well,
that's
big
changed
odd
nothing.
one out. Eh?
Okay, there is that's my intent. That's count. I was voting for Lenny. He's doing an amazing job. Recap every week. That's a service very accountable, by the way, because if he is sick, no one will do the recaps. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Sounds good. We can go level 3. I have
Okay.
consensus on level 4.
That's what you say. Okay, level 3. Lenny has voted. I will vote also. And we have Lenny. Level 3 is Lenny.
Okay,
That's
there
nice.
we go.
This tool is amazing.
All right.
Nice. Very good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And level 2 will be Pascal then.
Yeah.
Pascal, you deserve 6. You all deserve 6. And there is Rosemary desktop. I will vote level 1. Rosemary desktop.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Pascal. Yeah, it's always difficult because everyone's doing great work in the community. So I really appreciate everything you're doing, Lenny, Pascal, Rosemary, and Patrick. And I suppose we can move on to the delegate now. So who should be the delegate? Who's interested in being the delegate? I'll also find the spreadsheet as well to see who is the delegate right now.
I am a delegate already, and
I think I am.
Position should not have, as per my opinion.
I think I am no
more
delegate actually. Yeah, because I will be here the next week.
Yeah.
At least. But I will be here for 4 weeks. But we never know.
So how many wish to go?
Yes.
Patrick wanted to go for delegate. Anyone else?
I'd be interested in being a delegate too. Currently, I just pulled up the spreadsheet and I'll share it in the Zoom chat in case somebody wants to check out who wants to be a delegate. It looks like I think we're
you don't want to be a delegate?
Week 20 now.
Oh, Pascal.
I'm already a delegate. This is my last week.
Be a delegate. Huh?
I voted for.
I don't know.
She prefer to eat ice cream to be a delegate, I think.
So the
Yeah,
current
I think
delegates, the current delegates, Lenny was elected last week, and I was elected 2 weeks ago, as well as Patrick. And I don't think that you are a delegate, Pascal.
Okay. Today it will not be possible for me to attend, so I will pick another person for this week. Maybe next week I will be available, but I prefer to not
Okay.
to yeah.
Sounds
this week.
good. Thanks for letting us know,
I'd like
Pascal.
Okay.
I'd like to query Rosemary. She's new in the gang and everything, but beside being taking up engagement already, I kind of like her attitude a little bit. She's kind of hungry. She's pushy. That's what we need here. So I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
her as a
Yeah.
delegate actually also as well. But that's just want to
We need lions.
She's interested, Rosemary.
We need lions, not sheep, to be a delegate.
Is
So
Rosemary
if
interested
Rosemary, you
being
want to be a delegate,
and can she
welcome.
commit? Can she commit for 4 weeks to be present 1 hour extra?
That's the question. I think so.
Wait for her answer and we'll be quiet. Yes.
1 hour after the breakout rooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually stay for 1 hour after the breakout rooms.
And are you okay to be a delegate? You're interested?
Two.
So you can have a vote?
Yeah, I like to vote.
I nominate Rosemary.
Well,
Me
so first off, just liking to vote isn't necessarily
Okay, I
also
vote for
liking to
Oscar.
do research. So, well, I'd like to ask Rosemary. So, I appreciate your interest in being delegate. Would you also be interested? I know you have some limited time. You have other priorities as well. So, would you be able to, read up on some of the proposals beforehand? And do you think you'd be able to make good decisions in the interest of the community?
Yes, depending on how many proposals there are.
Ah,
Okay. Well, it's been how it is, where there's usually been maybe a couple proposals a week. That's been the general trend or so. Yeah. I'd also be happy to support you if you want to be a delegate too. And it seems like you have mostly consensus from Lenny, Pascal, and Patrick. But I also want to make sure that we have a delegate who's just going to be able to should be able to review the proposals and so forth. So that's why I'm asking these questions. And if you don't want that pressure,
May I add another very important aspect? That is to have it out in a timely fashion, not a couple of hours before the meetings. Some of them are coming out very late. And like myself, I caught up half an hour before the meeting. I said, whoa, there was a lot of things coming in. Because meeting is in a few hours. I expect everything to be in. It was very empty. So even I, who is a seasoned guy, get caught off guard because we've been discussing this for a number of weeks and similar. But anyway, just want to put that out. We have to be timely also in putting up proposals and discussion topics. Thank you.
I am totally agreeing with that. At the last minute is not good.
I agree. Well, I would say last minute is better than not at all, but earlier than that is better than last minute.
You have not the time to read, not the time for Lenny and me to read and other that are very
Read, not to think and consider.
When somebody puts
consider,
proposal last minute, we don't have to vote that day. It can be next week. So there's no urgency to react. So.
That is true.
Me, I was doing my proposal 2 hours before the meeting. 2 hours, 3 hours before the meeting, I was doing my proposal. By the way, very bad crafted. But the intent is here. Okay. Okay. So we have the delegate. That's Rosemary, and very happy. Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
That sounds good. Congrats. And welcome
Congratulations.
to being a delegate.
I was okay to go.
Just want to check.
I could be the backup.
Votes. I only see 3 votes. Did 5 vote or only 3 voted?
I had not voted yet, so
I'm checking that.
I vote now for Rosemary.
Okay.
I vote now for Rosemary. Voilà.
I just to check the app so we know it's working properly.
Yeah, that's work like a Swiss co. Yeah, that's nice. Okay.
Okay, cool. And
Thank you.
then you're welcome. Thank you, Rosemary. And the last thing, Lenny.
Oh, by the way, I have
is-
a chief delegate on Eden Onios, so I am not to be a delegate here.
Mm.
Dan,
I
you
cannot
want
be
to get off
delegate in every
something?
room.
Yeah, so I was just explaining how the Fractogram app works. So I'm just inputting the last thing right now because we're in room number 2. So I'm going to hit the send button right now, and it brings up the consensus results. There's a button at the bottom where it says results can be submitted here. First off, you can see the results and confirm
Can
that
we
they are
submit
correct.
There.
You can confirm that the levels are
Yeah,
correct
baby.
that
On
were
it.
entered into. Please, Patrick, allow me to speak without interrupting me. And so you can click on the results can be submitted here and submit them, but first you can look at the results and make sure that they are correct. And then it will automatically open it up in the web app. Then you can pretty easily submit the results from there.
Sure.
Make sense, Lenny?
Results are not correct. The results are not correct. You can resubmit.
Yeah, it looks
Level
like
6, there is no one.
well, so
That's
it
not
says Rosemary,
working.
but her account isn't listed there
And
for some reason.
I am accountable. I am checking. I do my job.
What it says in Telegram is correct.
6.
No, so there's a mistake in the Fractogram app right now. For some reason, I mean, the order is correct, I'm pretty sure, but the problem is that the account for Rosemary isn't showing up for some reason. So either you can manually enter that, or I'm also going
And
to try
not
to figure out what went wrong here.
Not only level 6 is not showing. Level 6 is not showing, and the delegate is not showing.
Yeah, and that's Rosemary. What is her US account name?
Rosemary 151.
Okay, I'll just put
Rosemary 5 1s.
11111.
1 1 1 1 1. That makes 5.
1,
Six.
yes.
7 8 9.
get it.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't know
sure.
why. Maybe I responded because maybe I didn't respond correctly. No,
It looks like you responded correctly, so I'm really not sure what the issue is, unless I'm miscounting the amount of ones, but it looks like you did it right. So I think there's maybe a bug or something. It should be working, but
No, yes. Okay, yeah, she responded correctly.
Toss that to Vlad or Tadas or someone to take an eye on.
She responded on the pin message, not on the direct message you sent.
oh, yep, that's correct.
I
Good
think-
call,
Yeah, I
Pascal.
think that's the.
would it work if I respond now?
You could try it, and then I'll try regenerating it.
Yeah.
Oh, I always mess it up the first time.
But it's not clear. I suggest somehow look at change a little bit of a display in this app, because like me, I've been here before, but I wasn't sure again which one, where do I click, you know? So it should be more, it should be foolproof, you know? You cannot miss where to click.
Yeah, it should be directly Dan's message when the prompt is launched.
Okay, I'll
But
try
it's
doing it
fine
again.
now.
Okay, so Rosemary 5 times 1 for the delegate, Rosemary 5 times 1 for level 6, and then the other level are filled, correct? I can send my,
Yep.
Yeah.
I can submit on chain now.
Yep, and I just regenerated after Rosemary properly responded. So now if you click on the here button, then it should be correct.
Yeah.
Okay, then we
Thank-
get the
But I have already
copy.
submit.
Okay, cool. And with
I
that,
am not wait for the here button
we're just at time.
because it's
so
not
I'll start-
reliable. So
Okay, I'll start closing up the room. And I mean, it should be pretty reliable. The only issue was that Rosemary did it incorrectly, but after that, now it's working correctly. But yeah, thanks everybody for the great meeting. This was cool. Great to hear everybody's progress. And we'll see you in the community room.
bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
So we have
We
one.
got 55 seconds or more.
Hasta luego.
Hasta la
See you.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Hasta la vista, baby. Bye.
הופעה טוב.
Bye, bye, bye.
See ya.
Are you sure, Rosemary, that the photo is yours?
Which photo?
The photo that you have on your profile?
Yes, why not?
It seems to be that's not really you, but we never know. I don't know.
It's okay. I
Okay.
don't in a lot of pictures, so.
No, that was a test. That was a test. That was a test. Okay. And Douglas is really himself. Yeah, he's really him. Yeah.
What am I in?
Welcome back, everybody. I don't know what Patrick was saying that you're in, but you're clearly in the fractal from what I can tell. So good to see you in the fractal, Douglas. Good to see everybody. Hope you had a great time. Also great to see Victor now on the screen. Great to see Space Wrangler Joe too. First time I've seen you, so really cool to see you. I hope that you all enjoyed your room. If any, and Douglas has people going around in the fractal as well. So yeah, we'll go into the topics. So we'll go into the topics on the consortium app in about 5 minutes or so. In the meantime, I encourage everybody to post their results on the Eden Fractal web app. I'll share that link in the Telegram live chat, and I'll also share the link soon for the delegates as well to see who's a delegate.
Yeah.
We have a couple proposals on the list today.
Okay, Dan, I just want to let you know that both Joe and I apparently don't have access to our EOS accounts.
Okay.
I tried to post the results and it insisted on Anchor, and my EOS account is on Wombat, and we spent at least 5 minutes trying to figure out how I can migrate to Anchor, because that's what the app wanted me to use. And all we could figure out was that I'd have to pay 0.5 EOS to buy my account back from Wombat.
Yep. So sorry for the confusion, Noam, and I appreciate you being patient with it. So one thing, I'm still going to send you your account. I created that for you last week. I have been working on a way to securely share it because it's a little bit complicated right now in EOS to securely share accounts. But something that's great for the future is I actually had a conversation with Andrew Ware from EOS Nation about people getting EOS accounts easily at Eden Fractal events, and that led to Aaron Cox, the co-founder and CEO of GrayMass, who creates the Anchor wallet, reaching out to me, and he provided a bunch of free account codes that we can use for new people at Eden Fractal meetings. So for anybody who doesn't have an EOS account, Space Wrangler Joe and also Noam, I created one for you, but I can also send you links after the meeting today so you can create new accounts easily, and then you can have them on your phone, and it's quite secure and it works quite well. And then if anybody else wants to invite a friend or anything like that, then I'm happy to share those codes. And then in the future, when people join meetings, they should be able to have a much easier time to create an account. And in the meantime,
what are the names of the accounts that you've created? Are they just random names, or do they something that would be easy to remember?
It enables you to create it. The only restriction is that it ends in .gm and it needs to be 10 letters long. So you can create Noam at .gm or something like that. And actually it doesn't have to be 10 letters long. It just needs to end at .gm. So you can create gnome.gm or flower.gm or something like that. As long as it's not taken on the EOS system, then you can create it and create whatever you want.
I didn't know there was a dot, that a dot was allowed in the EOS names.
Yep, that's correct.
Or is that a domain?
It works as a domain or just a name, but basically on EOS you can make account names and include a dot. So you can have, for example, Eden.fractal is the account that we have here, or you can have other variations as well.
Okay. So what does GM stand for?
It stands for GrayMass, but Noam, I think that would be best if we save this conversation for later so we can focus more on the topics at hand. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Next time I bring up Aaron Cox's and GrayMass's budget that needs to be expanded, I'm going to ask for Noam. I'm going to ask you to step up as an eyewitness, as a testimonial for why we need more money to smooth out the wallet process. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go on to the topics at hand. First off, if there's anything anybody else would like to share real quickly that's related to your room with the breakout room, especially people who are new, like Space Wrangler Joe, if you want to share a quick experience, then it'd be cool to hear it. And I'll pull up the windows for the topics at hand as well, and I'll have them ready to go in about a moment.
Sure, I'd be happy to share mine. So last week, I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this. More Equal Animals was mentioned a few times. I listened to it, watched a couple interviews with Dan Larimer, was super excited. The whole concept of changing the system in a positive way. And I think he quoted Winston Churchill, when things go down and things go bad, the options that are on the table is what's chosen. So I'm super excited to be involved. Yeah, I had the wallet issues, not on my end. I created one through Atomic Wallet, and it's having issues. So they've been trying to get back to me. I was about to make a new one on Anchor. So I sent a message to you on Telegram just to verify, because I think just in case they're having issues, I'm gonna just create my own Anchor. And so, my voting next time will be under a different name, I guess. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobook one more time here, because it was definitely a lot to imbibe in one sitting. So I kind of had to go back a few times and listen. But yeah, I'm super happy to be involved and really excited. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing that and joining us, Space Wrangler Joe. I love your name, by the way, and your background also looks really cool. And yeah, I'm glad that you're excited about it and inspired by More Equal Animals, what we're doing here and learning. I'll respond to your message after the meeting, and I'll also share you one of those free account creation codes with Anchor as well, if you'd like to do that. And I can help troubleshoot any issues that you have in the future. Also, it's Gnomes. I think it's your second time here too. So if Gnome, if you want to share, if you want to briefly share your experience so far, then that would be cool. We do have a couple of topics on the agenda too. So I'll get to that within the next couple of minutes and pull it up. But I just want to just provide, opportunity, Gnome, if you want to share any thoughts quickly, then that would be welcome, and it'd be great to hear from you as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, sorry.
With Dan and Rosemary, got to know the system a little better. It's obvious that we're still going through some growing pains. So I had several comments that might be able to streamline things for new members who are not so familiar with Fractally, with Eden Process, with the history of Genesis. And I'm hoping that over the next few weeks, I may be able to help curate that a little better and help Rosemary put together a better welcome platform, so new users like me and Joe would be able to get on board faster.
Thank you very much.
Part of what we're figuring out is that the whole story of the wallets might need to be streamlined as well. And that's about it for now.
Sounds good. Thank you, Noam. Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you there, and it's great meeting with you earlier this week, and looking forward to making it simple for everybody. Also, there's a bit of a point of confusion because we have two people with very similar names. So we just heard from Noam, and then also Noam was starting to speak too. So was there something you wanted to add there?
The other one is my tablet, which just had the screen die. So no, you can go ahead and kill that one.
There's a different person who's named Noam. If you see his name starts with a G, Noam. So it sounds very simple.
The other one is named Gnome.
All right, I'll make sure to pronounce that more correctly. Noam, thank you. And
Yeah.
Gnome, or I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Is your name pronounced Gnome or more like Genome?
I mean, Gnome is my
Gnome.
is a nickname. It's a nickname. My real name is Guillaume. It's a French name. But my ES account is Gnome Genomes.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and strangely
Sounds
enough,
good.
I'm a wiki gnome.
Well, cool.
With a
Thanks for the
T.
clarifications about the names. We're a bit behind on the topics, but Gnome, was there anything you wanted to add on or just share about your second experience at Eden Fractal?
No, it went great. That was fun.
Okay, awesome. Glad to hear. All right, so without further ado then, I'll share the consortium screen now and let everybody know what the topics on the agenda are currently. You should be able to see this screen now. And so I think that Vlad still hasn't deleted the topics from last week, so we can ignore the ones from week 37. And of course, you can check out the show notes from week 37 to see discussions about that. But the top topic with the most votes right now is what is the vision of Eden Fractal? So that's what we'll discuss first. Also on the agenda is creating an Eden Fractal participant agreement and our mission. We have two proposals for our mission. I made one and Patrick made one. Once again, I'll encourage everybody. There wasn't many votes this week. There's only, I think, 2 people who voted. I could have voted as well, but I kind of wanted to see because I made a few of them. I wanted to see what people wanted to vote on most. But what we got the most votes on is the vision of Eden Fractal. So that's what we'll discuss first. And of course, in the future, anybody can make proposals for discussion topics in future weeks and also vote with the Eden respect points to pick the topics that you want to prioritize during the meetings. So
Can I ask a question?
yes.
When you vote with Eden respect points, do those respect points get used up, or do they come back to you when the vote is over?
Nope, they don't get used, and they don't exhaust it at all. So you can use the same respect points to vote on many different proposals in the same week or different weeks, and they're non-exhaustible.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll have the next 50 minutes approximately to do the Agendas game as scheduled, where we'll discuss these topics and we'll see what we get to. If we can discuss all 4 topics, then that's great. If not, then we can propose some of them for next week as well, or different topics. And I'll ask that everybody please give the speaker, I suppose I'll be the speaker to start. So please give me up to 5 minutes to speak. And if you have any questions or comments, then just please raise your hand. And then me as the moderator, I'll call on people to give everybody a chance to speak. Feel free to jump in if you have a quick comment as well, but we just want to make sure we conduct an orderly situation. So if you have a question or a comment, then please raise your hand. And yeah, so the topic that I brought up here, I just proposed this early and we got a couple feedback comments from Lenny and Patrick that these were proposed kind of late too. So my apologies for proposing these kind of late. In the future, I'll aim to propose these sooner. But the first topic here is what is the vision of Eden Fractal? So in last week's meeting, to recap a little bit, we discussed the idea of implementing a participant agreement for Eden Fractal, whereby people need to sign an agreement in order to participate. And there's lots of great comments about that. And one of the comments was that people wanted to define a mission, and that's a priority for people to figure out, okay, what is the mission? What are we doing here? And so I spent a lot of time this week. I had a conversation with Vlad that I published as the episode of discussing Eden Fractal stuff. We published a video. We talked about the mission. And one of the things I did was I listened back to our meetings from meeting 28 and 29, where Vlad had originally proposed the mission of Eden Fractal. And one of the things that I was really inspired by was Eric. He shared a lot of great ideas about the vision and the mission. And he talked about how it's helpful to separate these to clarify it. So I went ahead and put together an article here. It's a very early draft article. It's at edencareers.com/vision, where basically I curated some of the discussions that we had. I curated a lot of things that Eric said, and I also curated quite a few things that James Smart had shared. James Smart is a great thinker who is in the EOS community and also works on the faculty team. he wrote an article called Mutually Benefiting from Misaligned Goals. So there's a lot of instructive thoughts, and I just figured it'd be a helpful discussion, perhaps to touch upon, because I think Eric made some great points about why it's important to define a vision. I'd love to hear from Eric about this more if you're interested in sharing. But yeah, so this article, it's pretty early in development. I wrote a lot of this just this morning, so I wasn't really planning to have this be the top topic. I was kind of proposing it more as a backup topic. But basically, there's some ideas here about the mission and the vision, and I went through a lot of the different timestamps. In particular, things that Eric was saying, I found the timestamps, and I also transcribed and wrote the different things he was saying about why he loves mission and vision statements and why it's helpful to make these two items clear and how the vision of Eden Fractal can interact with the mission. So there's lots of different questions about how specific the mission should be. Perhaps this can be instructive for the other different proposals that we have about the mission. And Eric gave some great explanations about how the vision is the destination we want to get to, and the mission is what you want to get to. So I'll continue to refine these articles, and I encourage everybody to check it out. I'll also share it in the Telegram chat so people can look more at, and it will be much cleaner in next week. But you can see some of the different topics here, like how would the world be different if we achieve our missions? These are some great questions we can ask when we're defining our vision, and make it really useful, make it really insightful. So when people join the meetings, then they can know what to do and how to help the community, how to cooperate and so forth. So I wrote a bit more about the mission vision here, and I also wrote some suggestions too. So just to put it out there, the mission that I proposed this week was our mission is basically to promote collaboration, create public goods, and empower communities. Patrick also made a somewhat similar mission too that he can speak about in a little while. And then I figured there's so many other great things that are helpful to mention too, and maybe that's a good place to have ideas for the vision. So I also wrote about helping people cooperate, making the best experience possible. I have a vision of, using these consensus games and these processes to empower and inspire millions of communities to cooperate for all kinds of helpful purposes, like imagining musicians and doctors and filmmakers and researchers and surfers and all sorts of people collaborating to create public goods and empower their communities with these processes, and how this can really help create abundance and joy and so many awesome experiences for people, and then also solve huge problems in the world. Like the world has a lot of major problems, especially with the exponential increase in technology. So this process in particular can be used to create amazing experiences and help grow communities, and then also solve major problems that we're facing with technology growing, like the increase in artificial intelligence and biotechnology and all these big things. So I just kind of put some bullet points out here. You can see it on the screen. Obviously, I also, as I was listening to it, I was kind of thinking about different things that people mentioned. So I know Perry had mentioned preventing corruption capture and decentralizing social media and communication channels, and also Gabriel and Eric had mentioned, and Pascal had mentioned the importance of promoting fractal democracy and improving governance around the world. And we also have a lot of EOS community members and Web3 community members who want to help grow these as well. So I kind of put together those to just start a discussion and see what we think about it. And then there's also this article about mutually benefiting from misaligned goals, where James Smart has some other great parts too. So, or some other great thoughts as well. So that's kind of that. In the future, I'll be more prepared with a cleaner article, but hopefully that can be helpful to start a discussion about the vision. And I'm interested to hear what everybody thinks of the mission. First, I suppose, because this is largely inspired by Eric, I'd be curious if Eric has any particular thoughts about this. And then otherwise, if anybody else has any thoughts, then please raise your hand and share your thoughts. Thank you.
So to me, the two key parts of the vision is that when people hear it, they go, it's clear, I understand it, and I think it's important. So if you start talking to people, they go, oh, I get that. That sounds really good. That's one of the first indicators that you've got a good mission. The other thing is that it should be clear who you're helping and what the problem is you're solving. In other words, is it too expensive, too hard? What are you solving? We help these people this way. And then the mission is, so what do we need to do to get there? So if you define a mission enough, that means we may think differently, but we could all get started today. Like if you said, here's a mission, we would have enough information to go, oh, I know something I could do to get there. So if a mission is make people happy, how that's really hard to do. So, but if you said, you know, help people have the best relationships possible, okay, but there's a problem of, well, how are we doing that? Is that through counseling? Is it through information? Is Perry going to set up a DNews thing on that? You know, what do we do? So to me, that's the big thing is, do I understand the cause? You know, what impact we're trying to have on who, and the mission is, do I understand how we are working together to get that? Those are probably my two biggest tips. And the biggest problem that we have in doing that is the curse of knowledge. We know so much about it, we think, oh yeah, everybody will get this, and they don't. So a lot of times we'll just say, oh, we do web servers and our blockchain, and everybody know how good that is, so they can automatically extrapolate where we are. And so when I did this with my students, I'm a professor, those that know, you know, I would have people leave the room, people come up with this, and then we bring people in the room and we'd give that, and they say, well, what do you think? Who do you think we help? And what if we gave this to you, what would you go do right now? And it's amazing how many times people say, you know, I don't have a clue. And people go, oh, but come on, it's so clear. So the curse of knowledge is probably the biggest danger, in that we think people just get it because we get it.
Yeah, great points. Thank you, Eric. I see Perry unmuted. Do you have thoughts about that?
Also known as narcissism. Just kidding. I do have a response to the vision. Whenever you're ready to hear it, whenever you guys are ready to hear it, I do have a contribution to that portion of it, a suggestion.
Yep.
Is this the right time, or are we still talking about progress?
Are we still talking about what?
Process.
Nope. I think now's a good time if you want to share some thoughts about the vision.
Sure. Okay. I think right now, what is happening in our community is an amazing moment. I feel for governance. I don't know if you guys know it, but I actually wrote a constitution for EOS in 2018, and that's what I read at the fireside chat. Was a forward to that constitution. It wasn't my constitution. It was an aggregation of what all the players were putting. It was my interpretation of like the best of everybody that was working on that. So I can say that my head's been in this space for a while. And I can also say that I think the pieces are coming together right now in an amazing way. And what I mean by that is I can see that Chris Barnes has taken the initiative to take on arbitration and mediation. In other words, settling our differences. How do we decide things between us when there's conflict? And that Joshua is taking on the idea of how do we tie together our different communities across languages and protocols. And I can also see that in this group right here, this fractal, there's a large, most of the people who are operating and providing and contributing in a way similar to the way that a press would, the way the media would, where Lenny is recording notes. Well, Dan, you're doing the same. You're doing timestamps. You're acting as host. Patrick is doing the same. He's creating mind map. These are all, and I'm doing DNews, and I know there's others I've missed, but there's a lot going on in terms of the media. So if any single group is represented that contribution set, it's this group, Eden Fractal. So we've got Eden Fractal, we've got what Joshua is doing, he's naming it NDAO for the moment, and then we've got DGov by Chris Barnes. What I'm seeing is the coming together of three estates, similar to the way the United States and many governments, but I'll use the United States because it's one I'm most familiar with, the way the United States uses the branches of government, also known as estates. So there's no magic behind that word of estates. It's just like a branch of government. But these are the branches of government, the estates, that counterbalance each other. And that's an important part of the government, is that they are separate so that they can offer a balance to each other. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a judicial branch in DGov. I'm seeing a legislative branch in the sense of power of the purse, power of the policy, in what Joshua is creating with NDAO across all the regions and languages. And I see here an opportunity to create an estate of the press. Now, we're a decentralized group, so we don't have an executive branch, right? So in the United States, you would have the legislative, you would have the judicial, and the executive, but we're decentralized. So there's no need for an executive branch. But as we can see in what's happening today with our media, the insanity of what's happening in the media, whichever way whatever your political bent is, you can't possibly believe that what is happening today is not chaotic. It's or positive in any way. So I think the need for an estate that balances the other two estates, the judicial and the legislative, is I think a good start. Maybe it's the final configuration, maybe it's just a start, but I think it's a perfect opportunity. So what that means is what I suggest for this group is that we become an estate, we become a branch, we become the group that facilitates and promotes and contributes the function of the press for our ecosystem. And if we are successful in doing this, I think we can create a model, not just for our group, but for all of crypto and possibly beyond, that offers a balance between those things. And it's that balance that I think is key. What is happening in the governments today, I don't think is happening because those things are counterbalancing each other. I think it's happening despite that. So I think the counterbalancing is actually a positive part of what we know about the way we govern ourselves, that we can carry over into decentralized governance, crypto governance. And so that's why I've been pushing for DNews to make this very simple step, the absolute simplest step possible with the least amount of work, just to make that connection between a decentralized decision-making body and a media asset, in this case, DNews. And the vision isn't that DNews becomes the only thing that we do here. It's just one of many things. And also the vision is that all of these entities receive a portion of inflation. Now, let's separate it for a moment from what's actually happening right now. And let's just imagine, because we're envisioning something, let's envision that this is how inflation was happening for our ecosystem. How would we divide it between those three entities? I don't know the answer to that, but there has to be some way of apportioning resources to each of those groups so that they can apportion resources to the efforts within their group. So how would it work here in this group? Well, Eden Fractal would get a portion of inflation, and then the decentralized body, the delegates, the elected delegates, as we elect them here, would distribute those funds for various, not just one, not just DNews, but many others. And it would distribute money to Lenny, it would distribute money to Patrick, it would distribute money to Mockingbird, or whoever was contributing in that way.
So Perry, let me jump in here, Roman. So
Okay.
thanks so much for sharing all the thoughts. Very interesting, insightful.
That's
Looking forward to
it.
listening to this again. One note that I should have made before too, just to keep things moving along, that I've been meaning to implement is, now that we're using the Telegram live chat, one of the systems that we're aiming to do is have it where delegates and people in the community can help signal when they want to move on to the next topic. So we do have 3 other topics on the agenda as well. And first off, if anybody else wants to share thoughts about the vision of Eden Fractal, then you'd be welcome, and it'd be interesting to hear more thoughts.
I'll
Okay.
just end by telling you that's the most important thing I've ever said in this group, and maybe the most important thing I'll ever tell you.
Well, thank you, Perry. And I didn't mean to interrupt you. Was there any final thoughts you wanted to add there? Just briefly before Douglas goes, but just do please keep it brief if there's anything else.
I think I just did.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much, Perry. Douglas?
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, so I think I have a different definition of vision. One definition that I really enjoy for vision is an idealized version of the world in which that we are a vital part of that, but the idealized vision of the world. Breaking that down, the mission then becomes what you actually hope to do to accomplish that. And then the pillars in the model I teach is, it has pillars, and the pillars are the actual strategies that you do. And then you have your foundation, which is your core beliefs. And this is a model that I've shared in the Fractally. I'm happy to share it again in the chat. But I think it's super important, and I'll keep my thing down to like just 2 minutes. But it's very important to understand what is the world that we want to create, and what is the common desire that we all have that's outside of politics, that's outside of all these systems. And one of the things in Consortium that I saw that I really resonated with about, it was either with the vision or the mission, we're creating these tools to help communities. And in my mind, it's better sort of to distill that idea down as we're helping people move together towards a shared desire or towards a shared manifestation. And yeah, like I don't have an answer, like I don't have a proposal for the vision, but I think that definition of like, what is our idealized world? Let's not make it concrete. There's no 4 branches of government involved. That's part of the mission. But the vision itself is what draws people in. So let's all take some time to think about what is the core thing that we can provide communities, and how can we make that an emotional image, because it is the vision, it is an image thing. How can we make that one sentence that's communicable, a world where each community is empowered and members are rewarded for their contributions in a decentralized way with economic implications that benefit each stakeholder. Something along those lines. That's all I got. I did want to keep it brief, but
Yeah, thanks so much, Douglas. Very inspiring, and thanks also for voting on that and helping to make this a top topic. I see Eric, you're unmuted. Was there anything you wanted to add there,
Eric? No, I just don't think what we talked about is incongruent with what Douglas said at all. The vision is how you want the world to be, but you need to describe that in terms of the impact to who. And I think that what he said about the mission is right on. What are we going to do to get as far as we can to getting there? So that is kind of the thing when, as Perry was talking, all good stuff, but what's the problem that we're trying to solve here? I mean, if we were to take what he said and package that up or anything else, what problem what's the problem? Why do we even need to exist? What's not happening that we can make happen?
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. I see Perry unmuted. I'll also say too that we do have the other 3 proposals and topics on deck too. So perhaps we want to move on, although I don't know if you want to briefly respond to that, Perry.
Yeah, I would be happy to craft a statement in response to that. But the problem that we're solving is the same function that the press provides. Like What is the function of the press in our society today? To keep a check on power.
Okay, but that's in generic. That's like saying, okay, I think our mission should be connection. Everybody needs connection. Well, that's true. So how does that apply
I think it's
specifically?
pretty specific. I think we need.
I don't think that's specific. You're saying we need to be a fourth estate. Okay, great.
Are we talking about vision or mission or objective? What was the
Either.
question?
I'm saying you stated a generic problem. Now apply it to this specific community. I don't think it's specific enough. I don't think that's my opinion.
Well, I haven't fleshed it out. I was just giving you the big picture of how I think this could fit in. I mean,
And I was saying great big picture. I'm saying the next step is it needs to be specific to our community. I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. I'm saying in order to be a vision or a mission, it needs to be more specific to this community.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be fleshed out 100%, 100% on that. Yeah.
All right. So great points. Thanks, Perry and Eric, and also Douglas. There's been some comments in the chat too. So one, I think it's good to move on to the next topic. Doug was saying his main point is to make the vision and mission separate. And my main intention here wasn't necessarily for us to define the vision. I just thought it was a good thing to bring up as a discussion topic, and then perhaps everybody can think it over. And if anybody wants to propose a more specific vision in the future next week or something like that, then I think that'd be a good idea. I think it is a good idea to think about the mission and also write it down. And it can be very helpful to inspire each other. Like when Perry shares his ideas, when Douglas shares his ideas, and these different things can help, as Eric was saying, give people direction and motivation to join the community and want to help. Also, there was a question before about whether this is the delegate hour. This is the delegate hour. We have another 25 minutes of proposals to be passed. Douglas wrote, agree, let's have some written down next week and talk again. Thanks, moving on. Sounds good. So back to the consortium. If nobody has any last comments about the vision, then I'll move on to the next topic. Next topic is the Eden Fractal Participant Agreement. And then after that, we have missions from myself and Patrick. So I'll briefly go over the progress that I've been thinking about with the Eden Fractal Participant and what I propose. And I think we have enough delegates here to vote on something if we want to, although I'm not sure. I see Council 17. Well, we can figure it out after, but I'll briefly share the screen to show what I'm thinking about as far as the Eden Fractal Participant Agreement right now. And this is a proposal, so we could potentially pass it this week. But basically, just to show it to you briefly here now. Sorry, I'm trying to find the window.
I have a quick question on the vision and mission before you do that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Joe.
So I get it. I see it. Is there a timeline that we are shooting for to lay this down? Obviously, usually when you're going to start something, that's your first thing, right? Is your mission, your goals, and your vision. Do we have clearly you guys have been working on this for a while. Do we have a kind of a goal, a date, anything like that set for these?
I don't believe anything has been set. There are several community members who have mentioned that they want to prioritize the mission. So, and there's been several proposals. There's already been like 6 or 7 over the past 3 months, and now there's 2. So I imagine, and I think it's a good idea to pass a proposal, at least to set an initial mission in the next maybe couple weeks. But there's nothing set, but that's just my personal opinion. Thanks for the question, Joe. If you want any clarification, that's cool. I see Douglas had to go because his batteries are go. He said, thanks everyone for being awesome selves and all the work to bring us together for this incredible experiment. I agree. Thank you very much, Douglas. And thank you everybody for being here for this incredible experiment. And thanks once again, Joe, for asking the question. It's great to hear from you. I have my window open, and I think that it's good to move on topics so we can see if we can get to both the mission and the participant agreement now. So I'll share my screen just very briefly. I propose a new participant agreement, like a V1.0. It just has 2 different basically terms or clauses that I mostly copied from the Fractally Genesis Contributor Agreement and the UNA. It's about just having consent that people will be able to speak English and also be able to that each participant is agreeing to record and share video or have their video shared and shared it publicly. There's a lot more terms, and if anybody wasn't here last week, I'd recommend you check out the show notes for last week. We discussed this. Sorry about that. We discussed this if you go to edenfractal.com/videos and go to the 37th meeting. Mostly we discussed agreements, so this might be a lot of new information if anybody wasn't there, but you can check out the show notes and check out the timestamps and check out this article that I wrote last week about agreements. And there's lots of timestamps where we hear from Pascal and Perry and many other community members sharing ideas about agreements. Basically, since then, I put an agreement, just a very quick basic version on IPFS here. As I mentioned, it has terms just very simple, like 2 sentences or 3 sentences, language. Each party acknowledges that they can read, speak, write, and understand the English language, and that they agree to speak English at all times when participating in a video call. And second term, consent to record and share video conference calls. Each participant agrees to give consent for the meetings to be recorded through Zoom or other alternatives by any other party. And each participant agrees to allow the recordings to be published by any means, including on social media, and acknowledge that all content and communication may be made public. And then there's also this other part that they threw in that further each participant understands that the posts to the blockchain are beyond the power of any party to remove. So that's basically the entire agreement I'm proposing here. And to be clear, well, first off, this is the edencreators.com/agreement site where there's a lot more details about here. I'll also share this in the Telegram chat, and I did do some updates to it this week. I also wrote some implementation notes and next steps and potential future clauses and additional benefits as well, in addition to all the other stuff that I presented here last week. But basically, the implementation notes, I think that's good. Well, to be clear, delegates can vote for this proposal if you support the creation of an on-chain participant agreement, as is written in that document that I just shared with you. And to be clear, this proposal scope is limited to just simply adding this agreement to the Eden.Fractal EOS account with the set agreement action. When James Mark built the original software, he built it where there is a set agreement action. So I'm basically just proposing that we test that feature out and add this. I'm not saying that this is a proposal to require or ask anybody to sign this agreement right now. I think that we should do that eventually. We should have a required agreement. But for now, I think a good first step is just putting it in the software and seeing how that works, because there's several things I don't know. Like, for one thing, I think we want to make it, well, for one thing, I'm not sure how it works. Like, if we have to enter a JSON file, or if we have a link to an IPFS document, something like that. And also, we have to figure out where to post a link to sign the agreement. I spoke with Vlad about it, and he wasn't particularly interested in adding it to the web app out of, I guess, philosophical differences. So we can talk more with Vlad about that if we want, or we can figure out a different place to publish it. And also, we want to make it simple. We don't want to make it a big barrier. So those new EOS account creation codes can help sign up, but I don't really want to turn people away if they haven't signed the agreement and they haven't had an EOS account. So I have some implementation notes, and I think it's also good just to provide some more time and space to discuss this. So I'm planning to start up a Telegram topic group. Thanks to Noam for starting one before about the mission, but I'm thinking of doing one for the agreement. And yeah, basically that's the idea right now, just putting out those 2 ones and having it in the set agreement action so people can see it and we can test how it works. And then in the future weeks, then we could add more terms. I think there's a lot more terms that could be helpful to protect the community from liabilities and set clear expectations. And then we could also figure out where to post it and the best way to do it in the coming weeks. That's that for my proposal there. If delegates want to vote on this, then I could put the topic in Telegram and people can vote on it right now, or we can just take a vote. But of course, we don't have to. I was just kind of putting out the idea, as this is the best way that I can see that we proceed with the participant agreement. So does anybody have any thoughts about this, or do delegates think it's a good idea generally?
I'm a new delegate, and it sounds like a good idea to me. You know, we need the consent so you can share the videos, etc. It seems reasonable to me. Obviously, you know, there's translation technology that could get over that English only hurdle at some point, but right now I think it's you know, necessary maybe.
And yeah, so good points. I'll pass on to Dasta. I've been speaking a lot, and just by the way, I've been making most of the proposals here so far because I was one of the only person who proposed a topic. So if other people want to propose a topic and speak more, then you're very welcome to do that. I don't have to be the one who proposed it at all, and I'm looking forward to getting to Patrick's in a little bit as well. Tadas?
Thanks for proposing this, Dan, and I think we could. I support this agreement, and I would be okay to pass it. And I think it's important. It would be. It's not clearly it's not the full final agreement, but I think it's a good idea to do it in steps. And the one requirement for consent to be recorded is, I think, one of the more important ones. So we could start here.
Great, sounds good. Thank you to Das.
Dan, did
Lenny?
you say you were going to drop the link?
Well, I just shared a poll in the Telegram live chat, and then also, oh yep, I did say I was going to say that. So thank you, Perry, and I'll share that right now in the Telegram live chat. And by the way, these articles still are in development too, so they'll be updated more. And Lenny?
Yeah, well, I will abstain in my vote because there are a few fundamentals. Maybe I missed something, but for instance, what are we voting in breakout rooms and in our council? Is it 2/3 or is it 2/3 plus 1, for instance? I'm not sure myself. It's always a discussion point. And there are a few basics that we have to have before we start lock things up in blockchain and similar. But maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am wrong. I hope I am.
Yeah, I asked Das about this. Das was the original creator of the Eden Plus Factor process with the delegates, and I had asked him, he's raising his hand. I think that what he said is that it's just 2/3. Is that correct, Das, or do you want to add any more clarity to that?
Regarding how many votes are needed in Eden Plus fractal process to pass proposals, it's 2/3 is enough. But I think what Lenny was asking is how many votes are needed in the breakout rooms to reach
as
consent.
well, yes. And where is it written down so people can really firmly say that's how it is? Because that's why I have vague knowledge.
Well, the way I see it, this doesn't have to be in the scope of participant agreement. The way I see it, the function of participant agreement is to protect each other from liabilities. It shouldn't include rules for how it doesn't need to include rules for how we do stuff. So if I would add rules about thresholds for voting, I would add them maybe elsewhere even. And
a little bit, okay, I will do a little bit back and forth. Why I raised that the issue is, it's okay, we need to put those things online. I agree. I thought it was a bit harsh language in the English bit, speaking English and all these things. It could be made possibly better, but anyway, I haven't had time to look at it. But the thing is, the fundamentals. We don't really have the fundamentals, like the community doesn't know. And even people were still voting here because it seemed like they didn't use the Telegram app. So we don't even have that basic voting principle in order. We should focus on these things instead of a lot of other things, ideas. It's a little bit, but I'm talking out of my scope now from what you are discussing right now. That's why I'm quiet most of the time. We have to go back and set the fundamentals, basic 4 or 5 things like we discussed a week or 2 back. What are the rules? And then we continue on voting and agree, a community all aware. But please continue. I just wanted to stress that don't forget those things before we dream about the big stuff.
No, I think what you're saying is potentially very important, but personally, I'm not totally clear what you mean by fundamentals. So if you could write them down for everyone in a list or something.
Yeah, I'm a busy man also, like everyone else. That's the problem. That's why I'm so quiet. But I just want to raise the point. I don't have the time to fix it. It's the same with bylaws in Eden are totally messed up. Unfortunately, I have a lot of knowledge, experience, but haven't got the time right now to do anything. So sorry, I just want to raise the flag in case someone knows more, or maybe I'm out sailing on my own.
No, I don't suggest that you try to fix it. I just short statements about areas where you see the fundamentals lacking. So that would be enough.
I'm having trouble finding the actual text that we're talking about. I went on the page and there's a reference to an IPFS link, but I don't see the link.
And are you in the live chat of the Telegram, Perry?
I was. I'm on your page right now, but I'm here. Okay. I see the agreement.
Yeah, I'll share my Telegram screen right now so we can see. And this is, I think, and it kind of speaks to what Perry.
It's the pinata.
Yeah,
it's
so
the
the pinata is where the agreement is, and I'd encourage delegates to vote in the Telegram polls here. I think that kind of speaks to what Lenny's saying. I think this can make our voting a lot more efficient and be kind of a foundational piece now that we're using Telegram. But basically, if you go to the live chat topic, that's where I posted both the article with more information, the agreement with the gateway, and then there's a poll. So far, you can click on view the results, and you can see I voted yes, Eric voted yes, and Noam voted yes, and I just see somebody voted no. Vlad voted no. So, and we just got to vote yes for Jadas as well, too. So this can be a more efficient way for delegates to vote. And then, yeah, of course, you can click on the link for the gateway pinata to see the actual text.
And the other thing is it's confusing to me. Are we voting to talk about it? Are we voting to do it? And you also said, hang on. You also said it's a work in progress. So we're voting for you to work on it, and we've pre-agreed to whatever you decide. It's very unclear exactly what's being asked.
All right, so Perry, let me explain it better. My apologies if I was a bit unclear. The page edencreators.com/agreement where I'm curating resources about it, that's a work in progress. The actual vote is vote yes for this proposal if you support the creation of an on-chain participant agreement as written in the IPFS document. Note that this proposal scope is limited to simply adding this agreement to the Eden.Fractal EOS account with the set agreement action. It doesn't require asking anybody to sign the agreement. So it's not a work in progress, the proposal. The proposal is specifically to add this IPFS document or the text in the document to the set agreement action of the Eden.Fractal account. That's specifically the proposal. And Patrick, you have your hand raised. And then,
yeah, on this particular,
go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, on this particular agreement, I have voted no, and not just because Vlad has voted no. I voted no because I think it's not the good momentum to pass this agreement. We should brainstorm on that. By the way, on next Tuesday, we have a brainstorming session, like every 2 weeks at 1600 UTC. So everyone is welcome to join. Not always the same guys, because that's a complex one. It's not only to agree, do you agree to be on camera when this YouTube video will be up? Sometimes you want, maybe, I was thinking about that today when I was writing my BAT phrased proposal that I will come back on if you let me the chance. I was thinking, okay, there are maybe some discussion here that we don't want to see on YouTube at all, because we are between us and discussing on some things that are not so clear. And maybe we want just to have some video on YouTube when we have something, let's say, clarity, because if we do video on YouTube, what's the point? To have the video on YouTube, it's to have maybe newcomers that are seeing the Eden Fractal meeting as a possible place to go and encourage more people to join. The same for Eden on EOS, by the way. We are not pushing the video on the Twitter, Telegram as a chief delegate here. I will never do that because we have not something clear at the moment. We are doing our processes. and I will come on the processes then when you give me the chance. So for the moment, the agreement, I understand why we need an agreement. I am, as I stated the last time, I agree to agree when it is the time to agree. But now there is too much things that are not clear, and too much stress on the shoulder to vote yes. So I prefer to vote no. And it's not to be the bastard here, it's just to be clear with what I think. I will not vote now yes. Okay, that's just on the agreement, my point.
Okay, thank you for the feedback, Patrick. And yeah, I think that discussing this at the next brainstorming session on Tuesday at 16 UTC could be a good option. So looking forward to potentially discussing that. I see Perry has his hands up too. What would you like to share, Perry? And did my answer before clarify for you?
Yes, thank you. I totally appreciate the desire to begin creating a written set of, I'll call them bylaws. You want to call them a participation agreement? That's fine. Whatever the case may be, we're writing down what we're going to be doing in detail. What are the rules of this game we're playing? So I completely support that effort, 100%. I think we should be doing that. However, I do believe that we need to figure out our values and our vision, and that's everything else will come forward. So it's just like any creative process. You want to start off with the basic fundamentals, and then everything will flow from that. And I think that we need to redress our attention to principles, values, vision. What are we going to do? Just in normal words, in normal discussions, what are we going to do? The second thing I want to say is I want to respond to Patrick, who it looks like you suggested that we move some discussions off video, and you question what's the reason for that. Well, I would say it's the same reason why in the United States we have C-SPAN, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with C-SPAN, but it's the live coverage of our legislative bodies and various bodies within our government. That's an extremely useful function, and allowing these things to happen online is great. You know, no one is disallowed from communicating behind the scenes in private, but our official deliberations 100% should be online, and not just after we've reached consensus. That's completely 100%
not always
diametrically opposed to the whole point.
Not always.
All right. Well, thanks, Perry and Patrick.
Not always.
I think it's best to, if you're done with your point here, Patrick, Perry, then Tadas has his hand up for a while. Also, we only have about 5 minutes left in the normally scheduled agendas hour where proposals can be approved. So far here, there's been 5 votes in total. It's a little bit difficult in the Telegram poll to tell who is a delegate. So that's something we can improve in the future. But there's been 5 votes for yes and 2 votes for no. Not exactly sure who a delegate is. But anyway, I'll pass on to Das now.
Yes, so wanted to respond to Perry and to Patrick. So to Perry, I for one look at participant agreement differently. I don't think it should define what we are doing. It should strictly be a document which participants signed before participating, just to protect themselves and other participants from legal perspective. That's the scope, in my opinion, that participant agreement should serve.
Okay, thank you for being honest.
No, I mean, we have other documents, and we will have other documents which define what we are doing. One of those documents is the Eden plus fractal process. But I don't know, that's just the way I see it, and we could maybe model it differently, but I think it makes sense this way. And to Patrick, I would say that what I would vote for here is whether we agree with these 2 points, these 2 clauses that Dan wrote. Obviously, it will have to include much more. So I don't think that we are voting for the final thing, but only for these 2 clauses, and later we will expand. But of course, maybe you
Yeah.
want to change these 2 specific clauses, maybe. So in that case, it makes sense.
No, I am just thinking rational and logical. Now he has signaled a will to this agreement. And I am aligned with Lenny. I am aligned with Vlad. I was hearing the video of Dancinjoy and Vlad together 2 times, and many talked of Vlad were very rational. And this agreement for the moment, I think we should brainstorm about that. However, there are only 2 sentences, and I know we begin small and we iterate, but I'm not really agreeing with the fact that we should have every time that we do here a discussion that online. Sometimes maybe we don't want that, and that's up to us. The same for the brainstorming session. I am always publishing the brainstorming session online, Dancinjoy, because that's my choice. I am the host of my brainstorming session. I decided that maybe in the future I will decide, no, that's not a good one. I don't want to publish that online. I prefer that we have used this time to brainstorm between us, but not show that public, for example. And it's to answer to Perry, that's not about to be not transparent and not do the things, let's say, accountable and all this stuff. It's sometimes maybe that's not value added to put online. So I don't want to make a sentence 100%. We have to publish online the things. And I think other people here are also agreeing on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. First, I'll remind Space Wrangler Joe has his hand up there, so let's try to respect the order of who has their hands raised in the future. Just to clarify, the agreement doesn't say that all participants, that all recordings will be necessarily recorded and shared. It's just giving consent for people like me who are recording the video to be able to record it and share it, or if anybody else wants to record, I encourage other people to record too. In the past, in many other times, it's not just one person recording, but other people can record too. But it gives more protection to people like me who want to share the videos, but don't want to get into some liability situation where at some point in the future, somebody says that they didn't consent to that or something like that. Generally, when people make videos with many other people, then there's often like waiver agreements and stuff like that to make sure that the video creator isn't taking on too much liability. Also, that concludes the hour, so we won't be voting on any proposals here. There's still the mission proposals from Patrick and myself, and I'd love to have that discussion, at least for a little bit, over maybe if we keep this going for another half hour or so before we wrap up the recording. But first, actually, I know Space Wrangler Joe had his hands up for a while. He just put it down. But was there anything you wanted to add on to that, Space Wrangler Joe? I'd be very happy to hear it if there is.
No, I was just gonna just say after reading the verbiage, yeah, it didn't say everyone is gonna be posted. And again, yeah, just like a waiver, whenever you film somebody in public, etc., you have them sign that thing. And again, it's just for clarity. And I think transparency is important, right? And especially in this. And I think that's, to Perry's point, that's what C-SPAN does. The arguments, I know last week when I was here, you and Perry were kind of getting into it a little bit, and to see that passion, to see the process and the debate back and forth, I think is important to this. Like, and granted, I totally agree with you, Patrick. We don't want, some things to be, broadcast maybe more than others, because we want to create like a positive view and that kind of thing. So I totally get that as well. And maybe there's something in the future where, as a group, we decide what gets published and what doesn't. But I do think the waiver thing, just to get rid of the liability, is a smart move.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Great points. And also, I'll just make a quick note real quick before you go, Patrick, that as I'm currently the one publishing the videos and creating the videos, if anybody does have any part of the video that like you really don't want to be in the video, you can reach out to me and I can potentially edit that part out or something. I want to give everybody the best experience possible. I don't want to, you know, record and share something if somebody doesn't want it to be shared. But in general, I do think it's helpful to record these meetings and share them. And especially as the community grows more, want to make sure that that everybody knows what they're getting into and it is clear if they're agreeing to be on the video. Patrick?
Yeah, if I have a chance to present my little proposal of the day,
Yes.
2 hours before this meeting, that would be nice. Okay,
Sounds
so
good.
I will put into the chat the proposal, and I have made a little explanation on that. So I will just put what I have phrase. It's on the Telegram. Just want to get that. That's on the Telegram, Eden Fractal. Let me check. That was in discussion with Noam today before the meeting, so that's nice. We were discussing there. In mission statement comments, there is a topic named mission statement comment. Okay, I have the topic 38. I put that into the Zoom now in discussion here, like this. Everyone can read that peacefully. Okay, so I have written that today, 2 hours before, and that was, yeah, Perry, you want to say something?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Patrick, but I can't find it in the Zoom chat or the Telegram chat.
It should be right at the bottom of
In the
Zoom
discussion chat. I just published it now.
I'll also post it again in the live chat in Telegram as well. And also just one thing.
Okay.
It's in Zoom chat. I just posted it in the live chat as well for Telegram. And one thing I'll say before you get into it, Patrick, is just thanks everybody for being here. And we'll probably keep the recording going for a little while, but as I was saying before, the time for approving proposals over, and I understand everybody's been here for a while, so if anybody has to go, then you can always watch the videos later. But I'm really looking forward to hearing Patrick's thoughts here, so I'll be sticking around for a while. But I just wanted to put that out there. And thanks. Go ahead, Patrick.
I have not speak too much, so I will just do 2 minutes instead of 15 minutes. So I have just written something very, I think, rational. If a public good has values in its own and provide an open API, and some component of the solution are also public good and open source, other Web3 solution can collaborate, interoperate with that. So if you create something public good, open API, open source, you are not in the obligation to create something open source. You can create just something with open API. Like this, you have other solutions that can collaborate with you. That's Web3, by the way. Then incentivize mechanisms such as rewards for the user to propose new function and or module to the dApp developer. For example, Tadas, for example, Vlad, for example, any dApp developer you want to propose something new, you can propose them to create a new function or a new module. And the dApp developer has also to be rewarded. That's essential. He's passing a lot of time to create the things. He deserves to be rewarded. And using an MSIG, as we have into this Eden Fractal since the beginning, that's helped to strengthen the distribution of the rewards, and that is essential between the actors. And the actors are the users, the dApps developer, and the solution owners. And when we do Web3 collaboration, we have those kind of actors. Now to come to the point here, what we see already in Pomelo, that's where the collaboration, we see that already on Pomelo, where the collaboration between Pomelo grant owner project is growing. With the collections, we have collections on Pomelo, where you can put the grant of different Pomelo grant owner in a collection, entitled, for example, NFTs, entitled press with dnews.zone or with bywire.news, all about the press, for example. And you have also bounty. Now for hidden fractal, what I see clearly, without to be too much, let's say, specific on antelope networks or other point, I say hidden fractal. I see hidden fractal myself. For me, hidden fractal is the catalyst to SMART, so specific, measurable, ambitious, and in time collaboration between verified humans, because when you come on hidden fractal, by the way, we want to have real humans using Web3 solution. That's my, let's say, mission that I see for this hidden fractal. And also maybe the vision a little bit tied with that. So hidden fractal is the catalyst to SMART collaboration between verified human using Web3 solution. And now from this sentence, this little pitch, there is a place for breakdown in bullets, the why, the what, the how of this hidden fractal. But we have to define first the biology before to go on an agreement. So that's why I have voted no for the moment for the agreement, because we need to define the objectives. I repeat what I stated on the last episode 37 that was recorded. We need to define the objectives. We need to define the processes to grow our collaboration and protect between us. Without agreement, we can already protect us between us. If you have good processes and with a good input, with a good intent input, you will have a good output. If you have a bad intent input, you will have a bad output. That's logical. So you have to create good processes. And the guidelines, we need great guidelines with clarity. What is a delegate? What is exactly our quorum into the breakout room? And all the points that Lenny has raised also. And then we can draft this famous community agreement. That was my topic proposal of today, but that's more a theme. I was discussing of that with Tadas before the meeting today. That's bad phrase, my think, but I understand what I read, and I understand for me and maybe for others what is this hidden fractal that's supposed to be. For me, it's this catalyst to have smart collaboration between verified human using Web3 solution. That's all about that. Then you can do all the derivation, all the variant that you want. I was hearing your episode with Vlad. That was a great one, very insightful. I have watched that 2 times. That was nice because you stated there that you need to have a mission that is not tied to antelope networks or to development or press or something like this. We are open to every, let's say, public good here. That's what I want to see for this hidden fractal, but that's my opinion. And I am open to press the reset button and to refresh my mind. But for the moment, I need a brainstorming session on Tuesday. So welcome everyone there. Thank you. And that was not long.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for making this proposal for the mission and explaining it. I see Rosemary has her hand up. So Rosemary, what do you think?
Thanks, Patrick. I have a question following up. You said collaboration, you'd love to collaborate more, and not only you, but a few participants said that they would like to collaborate on the mission, vision, and all that. How do you envision that as a collaboration? I see brainstorming, the brainstorming sessions as one way, but is it a time to think about other ways that we can collaborate so that we can come up to decisions quickly and move things along? So for example, an idea that I have and that we've been using with Dan for our meetings is using Notion, and using Notion as just to keep track of notes and discussion points. And it's so good for referencing back any other older meetings, and also even if all of us start using Notion, we can clearly see and make our initials visible for our comments so that everyone else can even comment on our comments on the subject. And so that way it could just speed things up. Because from my opinion, it's like a missing key puzzle part. That's
Yeah,
not
this piece of puzzle exists.
not a proposal.
Yeah,
Not a proposal on my end, but I may consider to propose that probably
Yeah.
future weeks, because from the feedback, like from what I've been listening to, collaboration is brought up constantly.
Mhm.
But so thinking about ways to collaborate more is probably the solution. So my question
Absolutely.
is, what do you think?
A lot of things, and I do also a lot of things for that, to have collaboration with the people behind the scene, by the way. Since that Eden Fractal is born, I have made collaboration with Tadas, Vlad, Dancing Joy, doing Eden Fractal update. We have our 5th Eden Fractal update published on March 23rd for Antelope Swiss Workshop number 19. That's a contribution to let the people what we do here. Then I have a mind map where the people can send their links to the mind map, and the mind map is updated. So if the people send the links, clear. If they don't send the links, I update myself. I don't count on other people if they don't send the links. Then into the brainstorming session, we have a mind map also. We update the mind map online when we are together, but we are always the same guys. Dancing Joy, myself, Lenny, Marco sometimes. Thank you very much, Marco, to have joined sometime. And we have Vlad and Tadas for sure. But we need more people on those brainstorming sessions, because here into the main room, you have not the time, and we see the time how it is precious. Sometimes we speak too much. Sometimes we are no more the time to speak about our things. We have the pressure on the shoulder to speak. Myself, for example, because I don't like to speak when I am on pressure. Prefer to speak quiet. And then we have the brainstorming session on the Tuesday. That's an event beside the Eden Fractal meeting to continue the collaboration and the adventure. If I have a takeaway of this Eden Fractal, I have the chance to meet Vlad, Tadas, and CIC that is not here today. And we are beginning to create things between us. And we will unveil when that's the moment to unveil, to have better collaboration for Eden Fractal, to have better collaboration for many things. The solutions are belonging to us because you are creating them. We are the creators of that. And we make this, as you stated, Dan, today into the interview with Vlad, the solution created by Vlad, by Tadas, by myself with MindWeb, Perry with dnews.zone. Every guy here that is creating something belongs to him, but then he can make benefiting the other people with that. So that's up to the human to collaborate. There is no potion, magic potion. I can only say if the people want to collaborate with their heart, soul, and mind, they will do. If they don't want, we can just repeat in circle week after week that how it is important to collaborate. And there is a video promotional of this Eden Fractal. Let's combine your power skills together. Now I was thinking about we have to create, to build a collaborative culture into Eden Fractal. I remember I was in an episode with Dan, Antelope Swiss Workshop, and we were speaking, building a collaborative culture around EOS and how Eden Fractal could help for that. And now we are going week after week since June to finally today come back to our mission, come back to our vision. But to have the mission and the vision and an agreement and all these things, that's the fruits of the processes that we are building at the base layer, bottom up. We see how it is important into Eden EOS. We have to begin bottom and then to the top. And then we will have nice bylaws, nice document, well-crafted, and nice guidelines, and nice moderator guidelines, and all this stuff. That's what I see. And I am not alone here. So I encourage to collaborate with you, Rosemary. I enjoy myself to collaborate with you for some things that I see. I encourage to collaborate with other guys and girls into this hidden fractal, because that's the takeaway of those hidden fractal. That's let us to have some connection into the breakout room. When you know no one, you are into the breakout room, you know someone, and then maybe you see week after week, because it is weekly, that this person maybe that's make worth to collaborate with, because you consider for you, this person seems to be reliable, accountable. I want to collaborate with her or with him. So that's what I see for the moment. So I cannot answer to a real mission and vision moment. That's only the sentence that I have written: create collaboration between verifiable humans. That's all what I see.
All right. Thanks.
Sorry if that's not answer maybe totally to your question. Maybe, I don't know, but I cannot answer more than that, because I don't see more than that for the moment. My brain is stupid, so I need more brainstorming and hidden fractal meetings.
It was quite informative, Patrick, and yeah, I'm looking forward to brainstorming more. If there's anything you want to add on to that, Rosemary, or any thoughts you want to respond, then feel free. Also, Perry's got a hand raised up, and we have been here for almost 3 hours, so I think we should start wrapping it up pretty soon. I see Rosemary unmuted. What would you like to share?
Thanks, Patrick. Makes sense. Yeah, we have to collaborate more, and we can think of ways to collaborate, all of us, that with the right tools that would suit everyone's time schedules and everyone's availability. So like we'll figure that out. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Will.
And thank you, Victor. I just saw Victor had to go. Nice time, everyone. Glad you enjoyed it. It's great to see from Victor. It'd be great to hear from you more in the future, too. I hope to see you again next week and future weeks, and looking forward to speaking with you more.
Shout out to Victor.
Yep, big shout out to Victor. So Perry's got his hands up, and yeah, I would say we try to aim to wrap it up if we can, maybe the recording in maybe like 10 minutes or so, and then we could stay around for off recording talks if we'd like. I'll be happy to stick around and maybe go to audio. And also, before we do it, I can also briefly share my proposal for the mission as well. I could do it in just a minute or two and share some windows that can help both follow Patrick's proposal and perhaps help inspire mission proposals for next week in the future. But before we get into that, I see Rosemary's hand is still up. I think that you completed what you wanted to share. Okay. And Perry, you've had your hands up for a while. What would you like to share?
Well, I'd like to ask Patrick, what is the relationship between this proposal and the APIs that it's suggesting, and the proposal that Bywire has suggested with its APIs? Is there any relationship between the two?
No, there is no relation or any, let's say, I was writing that how I think about the processes, have to be, the solutions that the Web3 solution that we are providing, because it's about Web3 solution, have to be at least open API with an API if there are not open source. And if the solution are at the same time open API and open source, the fact that there are open source, that's very interesting. Another web solution provider, DApp developer, let's say another solution provider, developer, can see, oh, that's very interesting. There is someone that is doing a Web3 solution that is open source. I can come myself and enrich his solution with my new function and my new modules, and we have 1 + 1 = 3. If he has just an open API, that's already something. I can integrate some piece of his software into my software by using this API. So that's why I say at least that should be open API if there is no open source. And this is, if it is open source, that's the beauty. What is a public good? That's something that is not exclusive. That should be something that is totally inclusive. That's the public good, and no barrier to the entry. That should benefit everyone. Now, how to do money? Money.
Yeah, I don't think you're answering my
money.
question,
How we
Patrick.
can do
I'm
money?
being very specific.
There are all. I think
asking
I
you
answer.
very-
I
very
can answer.
specifically.
I cannot answer
You're
more.
not-
You know.
Allow me to be more targeted. The proposal that came from Bywire is very specific
Okay.
about rewarding contributions via using an API to do that. Your proposal is extremely specific, talking about rewarding and using an API. And the idea that you're saying there's absolutely no relationship to it, I think is disingenuous at best.
So Perry, to
You
be
are
clear,
again.
hold on one
You
second,
are
Patrick.
again.
Patrick, hold on one second. The proposal, there's additional context that Patrick provided in the Telegram chat, but the proposal doesn't mention anything about API. It's the Eden Fractal is a catalyst to smart collaboration between verified humans between Web3 solutions. So that is the specific proposal. It doesn't make any mention of the API. And I would suggest that we start to move on and wrap it up.
I make it.
Wow, Dan, come on. Let's be honest. Let's stop rolling.
No,
with
you are
this.
not.
Let's be honest.
You are.
Come on.
So hold on. I think that I don't know why you don't think that we're being honest, Perry, but what I'm aiming to do is just start to wrap it up and perhaps talk after we do the recording, because we've been here for kind of a while and I don't want people to stay for too long on the call because sometimes people tend to get tired. If there's something you want to add there, Patrick, Perry, then that's all right. But I think you were maybe, I mean, it's an interesting discussion, but I feel like it could go on for quite a while.
It's a key discussion. I think if anybody's actually paying attention, they realize that what is happening in the background is that Bywire is being set up to be the driving force of this group, but no one's really saying that. It's not being presented. We don't see Michael here. We don't see a white paper that includes Eden Fractal. It just seems kind of silly, and I think we just need to start being more honest with each other, guys. That's my point.
Okay.
Perry,
well, thanks.
Dance enjoy.
All right, sure. Go ahead, Patrick. Then one more comment from Patrick, and then I'll speak, and then we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, let me speak also and not cut me when I speak.
Just please keep it
I just
brief,
want
though.
to answer clearly. The proposal that I have made, there is an explanation on the top of the proposal about OpenAPI, and if you have read, there is OpenAPI mentioned, so that's right, Perry. That's mentioned OpenAPI and all this stuff. But I have not mentioned that because you are thinking about Michael O'Sullivan and Bywire. I have think into the absolute. You are coming already with your mind already formatted about Bywire, Michael O'Sullivan. And again, sorry, I want to be very polite with you. I don't want that you put word into my mouth. I have not stated Michael O'Sullivan. I have not stated about EOSBs or other people with whom I collaborate. I just stated what's for me a Web3 solution. That's all. Now, if you want to think and find, be peaceful, be quiet. You are always searching for something behind the thing.
Okay, so let's move on now.
I stop here.
Thank you,
that's
Patrick.
The kind of seconds for. That's the kind of seconds that That's the kind of seconds that I don't love at all. Those kind of seconds like now, for example, because I have to defend myself.
Okay, well, let's move on then.
Some talk that are not true.
Okay, let's move on so that we'll go on to more seconds that Patrick loves and everybody loves. So I'll briefly comment. Perry, as we discussed at the end of the last meeting, the offer is still open. If you'd like to discuss this more, and I'm happy to invite more people, and we can record it as well if you'd like to be recorded. But as a host and as a moderator, one, I don't want to focus discussion too much on one particular topic that was scheduled, and then two, I just want to respect that everybody's been here for a while, and when people are in front of a screen for a long time, then people can get tired. So we want to keep the meetings relatively short. And regarding the stuff you were saying about Bywire, I think we just have a very different perspective about what you're saying, because you're saying, let's be honest, it's clear that there's an influence on Bywire. I had never thought about that until you brought that up. So that was completely new to me. I'm a big fan of Bywire. I used to work with Bywire. I hope Michael can join sometime. I'd be interested to hear more of your thoughts about that, but that was a complete surprise to me. I haven't heard that. So let's move on to the next topic. I'm going to start to wrap it up. I'm just going to briefly share a quick presentation in like 2 minutes, and then we can close out the recording. If we want to keep talking after recording, then that's cool. If you want to share like a quick sentence, Perry, then that's okay in response to that. But I really don't want to get too far into this topic, and I want to start wrapping it up.
Well, I'm not going to doubt whether you're aware of that or not. This wasn't directed to you, Dan. What I'm suggesting is that, or I'm saying that it's a matter of fact that Bywire has come up with this plan that includes APIs and rewarding people with crypto. And that's essentially, maybe it wasn't in the proposal itself, but it's clearly part of the idea. And Patrick just said so. And I'm just basically saying that if that's happening, I think that's what we should be talking about up front. You know, let's discuss it. Let's get Michael in here. Let's see a white paper. What, you know.
Okay, so let's discuss that another time, Barry. Let's do it another time.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll move on and start to wrap it up. I have a couple of things shared, because I also made a topic. I made a proposal today too that we never got to. But since we've been talking about missions, I think that helpful to wrap up by just briefly showing the mission I proposed and also promoting a couple of different things here. So first off, you can see the mission proposal that Patrick just proposed and we discussed here. If you'd like to repropose that in the future, Patrick, then feel free. I made a proposal. Our mission is to promote collaboration, create public goods, and empower communities. This was inspired quite a bit right before the discussion I had with Vlad. We released that show. It's called Discussing Eden Fractal Stuff, where we discussed this, and I encourage everybody to listen to this if you haven't already, or watch it. It's quite a fun call, and we talked about a lot of different things that were quite interesting. You can check out the show notes, and I wrote some notes that are pretty informal. They're just notes I put together quickly, but it was about the mission and why I think it's good to focus on a broader mission, not just about working with the EOS community. I love the EOS community, and we should help grow the EOS community, but this is also why it's helpful to expand beyond just the Eden community in our mission and make it more accessible and more broad in general for everybody. So I won't go into too much here, but I encourage everybody to check out the show notes here and the video at edenfractal.com/defs, DEFS. It's also shared in the Telegram group as well, and I'm looking forward to discussing that more. And yeah, I've also been curating the ideas with the mission at edencreators.com/mission. So I'll add the ideas that we've shared here with the mission at some point soon here. This is a resource that's also in development, but it shares the various proposals that people have made throughout the past few months now that we've been talking about missions. So those are some resources. There's also some resources at the edencreators.com/vision article too. These articles will kind of probably merge to some extent because they're both pretty related with the mission and vision, but I appreciate everybody's insights here today. It's been a great meeting overall. And one thing else I'll say is we have a bunch of upcoming events in the EOS community. The DNews website is a great resource for both seeing lots of content and also the calendar feature in particular. So we have the EOS Fireside Chat coming up. It's every Wednesday at 19 UTC. The giveaway show, the Haifa DAO activation series that I believe Josh was hosting. Actually, the Haifa team is hosting. Normally, you can scroll down this page and see more. That's not working right now. But if you go to the calendar and you go to sort it by month, then you can also see all the events throughout the week too within the wider Fractally and EOS community as well. So thanks so much, Perry, for putting this together. And I think maybe in the future I'll use it as a resource to wrap it up and share and encourage people to join these events. One that I'll throw out is the town hall that I host every Sunday at 16 UTC. I encourage everybody to join. We're gonna have a lot of great discussions, and also the brainstorming session coming up next Tuesday, and of course the Eden Fractal event coming up every Wednesday at 15:30 UTC. So thanks again, everybody, so much. This has been a very helpful and interesting conversation, and I'm looking forward to the next weeks and all of our progress. Is there anything else anybody would like to add? Any last closing remarks, or shall we wrap it up now?
I think this is when Patrick and I tell each other that we love each other.
I think that's a good way to do it.
Hey, to be honest, if you continue like this into this way every week, to point me when I say something, because you think about something wired and etc., you are on the wrong person, by the way.
I still love you, Patrick.
So be quiet, be peaceful. Yeah, I know what you want to say, but that's enough. When
I'm
it is
glad-
enough, it's enough. Huh? Maybe at a point I join anymore because that's too much.
Okay, and that's enough for now.
Okay,
I'm glad
so
that Perry
be
loves
peaceful
Patrick.
with me, and I will be
Patrick,
peaceful with you.
good. Let's be peaceful. And it's not just about two people. There's many other people on the call too. There's Noam and Vlad and Marco and Rosemarie and Space Wrangler Joe and myself. Love you all. Thank you everybody so much for all the great work and looking forward to future meetings. Shall we wrap it up with a go Eden? Or I don't know if Joe or Rosemarie or Noam or Vlad or Marco want to share any last final words, then that would be welcome if you want to say anything quickly. But otherwise, we can wrap it up and maybe we can do a countdown. The 3, 2, 1. And then after 3, 2, 1, we can say go Eden. Or we can do it differently if you guys want.
0.
We can also have fun with it. That's how we typically do it. And
Go
it's
Eden.
fun. Go Eden. That sound good, Patrick?
We are not Eden. We are Eden. No, Eden Fractal.
Okay, we can
Eden
go
Fractal.
Eden Fractal.
We are not Eden.
Let's do go Eden Fractal then. Sound good. Everybody ready? I see Rosemarie turn the camera on. Good to see.
Let's enjoy. You are ready?
I'm
Don't
ready.
forget the pinky.
Okay. Good
You are me?
reminder.
Me,
Okay. Let's go. 3,
You have
2,
here. 3,
2,
2,
1,
0.
Go Eden
Fractal.
Fractal.
Eden Fractal.
All right. Thanks everybody
Thank
so
you,
much.
Space Wrangler Joe. You are a good guy. Thank you very much.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Joe. Thanks everybody, and see you next week.